Yeah, hi all. Welcome to Data Analytics and BI. So before we get started, so let me show something to you. So I'm an author. Yes, you know, few of them bought the book. So that's why you are here. No. Okay. Thank you for supporting me. So my book, Voyagers of the Lost Earth, is available on Amazon. So the price is also a little decreased. So yeah, please purchase the book. And if you want anything, any help, resume building or anything related, yeah, this is me. Okay, I'm really down to it. Okay. Hi all, welcome to Data Analytics and BI. So now we will discuss about the introduction to Power BI. So before we start with the Power BI, let us know what is business intelligence. So the Power BI has been evolved from the word business intelligence. So let's see what is business intelligence. So the business intelligence is the process, technology, and practice of collecting, analyzing, and presenting business data so that organizations can make informed decisions. Okay. So it is a collection of. So let me write over here. So it would be easy when you revise. So it is the collection of data. The first one is collecting the data. Collecting the data. And next one is analyzing the data. Analyzing the data. And the third one is presenting the business data. Presenting the data. The same data to the business owners or the stakeholders or the clients or the end user. So this is what the business intelligence. So that the organization can take the decisions based on the data that we have given or the presentation that we have given. So this is business intelligence. And now let us see what is Power BI. So let's see what is Power BI. So Power BI is the business intelligence tool that is used for converting the raw data into insightful analysis and reporting and data visualization. Now let's see what do we have here in step by step. Okay. So Power BI. So Power BI is a business intelligence tool. Yeah, that it is a business intelligence tool. So which is used for creating the interactive dashboard. The first thing is that interactive dashboard. And also it is used for converting the raw data into the insightful data. Insightful data. And the next one is it is used for making the reports and data visualization. Data visualization. So this is Power BI. And what do we have in the Power BI? Now let us see, there are three components in Power BI. So in Power BI, there are three components. The first and foremost component is Power BI desktop. Power BI desktop. The first component is Power BI desktop. And the second component is Power Query editor. Power Query editor. And third component is Power BI service. So in Power BI desktop is a free version, free license. We can have the way we download the applications from the Google Store. So we can easily download Power BI application from the Microsoft Store. Now let us see what kind of a views do we have in Power BI desktop. So there are three views. As we discussed, there are three views. The first component is Power BI desktop. The first component is Power BI desktop. So in Power BI desktop, there are three views. The first view is report view, where we use it for report building. So report view is used for report building and mainly for the data visualization part. data visualization. So we have different types of visuals and we use it for report building. So this is the first view is report view. And the second view is table view, where we can see the data in the table format, in the tabular, in the columns and rows. And third view is model view. So here what do? We make the relation between the tables. Relation between the tables. So that the data that travels or passes through all the tables. So this is Power BI desktop. And the next one is for data transformation, we have Power Query Editor. For data transformation, we have Power Query Editor. Power Query Editor. So what do we have in Power Query Editor? Let us see that. So Power Query Editor is an ETL tool, extraction, transformation, and loading of the data. Extraction, transformation, and loading of the data. It's a mini ETL tool. So we have different transformation techniques. So what do we take? Transformation techniques. Transformation techniques used for cleaning the data, mainly used for data cleaning. So data cleaning. This Power Query Editor is used for data cleaning, data transformation, data changes, and data manipulation. And the next one is Power BI service. And the next one is Power BI service. Third component is Power BI service. Power BI service. So Power BI service is a cloud platform. Cloud platform. It is mainly used for sharing and collaboration of the report. Sharing and collaboration of the reports. So we build the report. So what do? We build the report in Power BI desktop. So if we have any data transformation, we do the data transformations in Power Query Editor and we click on close and apply. Those changes will be applied in Power BI desktop. And once we have completed the building of report building is completed, then what do? We need to publish the report. Why do we need to publish the report? To the cloud. So the users or the clients can easily access the reports. So here we have a concept called as workspace. And we have a concept called as restricting the report to restriction, report or the data set restriction. So what is report and what is data set? So when we build the report, we use few data sets. For example, from Power BI, we connect to Excel, or from Power BI, we connect to SQL Server. From Power BI, we connect to different data sources. When we publish the report, whatever the report that we have it, plus the data set that we used behind it will also be published. So in the workspace, what do? We can restrict the data set and also report from the users. So this is what we have it. So we have the admin level information, administration roles, admin roles. What are all the roles that we have? We have first one is admin, second one is member, and third one is contributor, fourth one is viewer. So this is used when we would like to give permission to the end user. So what this is for the workspace access. Okay, in the workspace, for example, there are 10 reports available. So do you want to give the access to the workspace? So when we give access to the workspace, the user or the client can see all the reports in the workspace. So that is administration level. So this is called as admin level, administration level. This Power BI desktop is a free version. It's a free version where we can easily download. This Power Query Editor is a ETL tool. It's a mini ETL tool. And Power BI service is a admin level. So which is used for sharing and collaboration of the reports to the end user. So this is what we have it in the free version. So now let us see. So now let us see. So how do we connect from Power BI to different applications? So now let us see how do we connect from Power BI to different reports, different data sets. So this is Power BI. So this is Power BI. Power BI. So we have, if you know about what is on-premise data sources and cloud platforms. So there are two types of data sources. The first one is on-premise data source, and the second one is cloud-based data sources. On-premise and cloud. So what is on-premise? On-premise data source. And cloud data source, cloud platform. I can simply say cloud platform. Okay. So what is on-premise data sources? So organization's data source. Simply, I can say organization data source. So what is organization data source? So it can be Excel. So it can be Excel. The data sources that is used within the organization and by the organization. Excel, CSV, or SharePoint, or database. These are all the organization data source. What is a cloud platform? Cloud data source. So whatever we have, the Azure technologies, Azure Databricks, data lake, data flow, data factory, and warehouse, or Azure SQL. So these are all the cloud platforms where from Power BI, we can connect to all these data sources. So we can get the data from the Power BI into Power BI. So how do we get the data? So we can get it by clicking on the get data. We have an option called as the first step is get data from the source. The first step that we do is get data from the source. Okay. And the second step is, okay, once we get the data, then what do we need to do? For example, in Excel, we have 100 columns. So what do we need to do for our requirement or from the project? So we need only 50 records, 50 columns. So what do? We edit the data or we do data transformation. The second step is data transformation using our query editor. Once we clean the data, the next step is data modeling. Data modeling. So what do? We make the relation between the tables. So if we have more than one table, so we have a concept called as dimension and fact table. We will discuss that in further session, primary and foreign key. By using those things, we make the relation between the tables. And fourth step is implementing the DAX for in-depth analysis, data analysis expression. So we go for in-depth analysis by implementing the DAX. So once we have completed analyzing the data, so the next step is data visualization part. Data visualization. So what do we do in the data visualization? If you want to represent the analyzed data in a summarized way, so what do? We take different charts, visuals, plots, and graphs, and we represent it to the client. So what are the main graphs or the charts that we take, visuals that we take? If you want to compare the data, we go for bar chart. If you want to go for daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, half yearly, and yearly analysis, trend line of the data, so we go for line chart. So that is data visualization. And once we complete the building the report, okay, simply report building. Okay, so once we complete the building of the report, then what do we need to do? The next step is publish the report. Publish the report to Power BI service. The next step is Power BI service. So here comes the Power BI service. So here comes the Power BI service. So here comes the Power BI service. So in Power BI service, what do? We publish the reports. Whatever the report that we built, we publish the report. So here the user can access the report. Power BI service. So here what the user can access, okay, which is used for sharing and collaboration. So here what do? If you are working on the sales report, we create a workspace called as sales workspace or sales team or sales and marketing. So we create a workspace called as a sales and marketing. In that sales and marketing, whatever the respective reports that we have built, okay, those reports are published into sales and marketing. So in the sales and marketing, as per the access that we give to the user, so those users or the clients, they can easily access the reports. So this is Power BI service. How does the client or the user access the report? So they can access the report in their system or in the mobile phone. They can access the report in their system or the mobile phone. So for this, we need to have the license. Okay. Now let us discuss about a little bit about the licensing part. This is just an overview. So in further session, we can discuss a lot of things. So in Power BI, we have three types of license. So in Power BI, we have three types of license. The first license is free license. Okay. So what do we do in the free license? So in the free license, it is used for report building, all functionalities. We will have all functionalities. We can build the report. But the only thing is that no sharing. We can't share the reports. Okay. We can develop the reports. Okay. Simply we can develop the reports, but we can't share the report to other users, end user. Okay. The next functionality, the next license is the pro license. The next license is pro license. So what do we have in the pro license? So we need to pay $14 per month for the license. $14 per month for the license. The way we buy the OTT platforms for 1 month, so it can be used for single user. So pro license is like a single user. So what we have it in the pro license, all functionalities plus sharing. So we will have the sharing. So we can publish the reports. So what is the data limit? 1 GB is the data limit for publishing the reports. We'll see that. We'll see what do we have in the different types of license. If the client wants to access the report, they should also have the pro license. That is the pro license. And the next one is another license that is used by the organization is premium per user or premium per capacity. Okay, the next license is premium per user or premium per capacity. So it is also called as PPU and it is called as PPC. So premium per capacity. Okay, for PPU it is $24. So it is $24. For PPC, premium per capacity, it is $4,995. Okay, to access the reports for advanced analysis. So premium per capacity is based on the capacity. How much capacity that you need in your organization. So PPU is used by single individual. PPC is used by the organization. Okay, if there are 100 users in the organization, so they want to access the reports, so then they go for the PPC, premium per capacity license. So this is about the license part and also Power BI. Now we will discuss about the Power BI license and also the connectivity modes. So basically Power BI has three licenses. The first one is free license. The first one is free license. And the second one is pro license. Third one is again premium per capacity and premium per user.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you see, the Power BI has three licenses. The first license is free license. Free license. So what do we have in the free license? We will have all kinds of functionalities. All kinds of functionalities. Functionalities. And also we can go for, we can develop the reports. We can develop the reports. But we can't share the reports. We can't share the reports. I mean, simply I can say publish the reports. Publish the reports. So this is for the free license. And the next one is, pro license. Next one is pro license. Pro license. We will have all kinds of functionalities. All kinds of functionalities. Functionalities. And we can share the reports. We can share the reports. So this is pro license. And the next one is, there are again premium license. Again, we have two types in premium license. That is premium per capacity, premium per user, and premium per capacity. So what do we have? Premium per capacity. So in the premium per user, we need to pay $20 and we get the license. Every month we need to pay $20. For pro user, it is $14. Premium per capacity, it is for the organization. The way we have Office 365 applications and other applications that we buy from the Microsoft. So if you want to include the Power BI, I mean, in the Office 365, we have like Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, Outlook, etc., SharePoint. So if you want to also include Power BI, so we need to go for the organization. The employees who are working in the organization, everyone can access Power BI. So they should have, the organization capacity should have the premium per capacity. So it would be like $4,995 per month. Okay. So what do we have? Let us see the difference. So let us see what do we have in the license part. So there are, if you see the Power BI free, and individually we can connect individual user, I mean personal users. So connect to various data sources, and we can create the reports, dashboards in Power BI desktop, and we can publish, but we have the limited sharing. We can only have my workspace. Let us see the difference directly over here. Okay. So the functionalities, free license, we have all functionalities, but no sharing. For pro user, we have all functionalities. We can also share the reports. And for premium, yes, we have all the functionalities. Sharing capabilities, free, we cannot. But for pro user, we can share the user-based license. For example, I have developed the report and I have the pro user and you are my client. Okay, three of you are my clients. So the three of you should have the pro license to access the report. You should also be the pro user to access the report. And for premium per capacity or premium per user, they can also have the sharing capabilities. Coming to the cost. So it is a free version and it is $14 per month. Previously, it was like $10 only, but now it is $14 per month. And it is $24 per user per month. And for organization, okay, simple, I can simply take one small example. For example, if you would like to go for Netflix or Amazon Prime, for Netflix, it is like 199 rupees every month to access only for the single screen. Okay. And if you go for the Amazon Prime, it is like 149 rupees only. Only single screen, that is only on the mobile phone. So if you would like to upgrade it, or if you would go for 1499 rupees, you can create multiple profiles. So you can give it to your friends and your family members, up to 4 or 3 users only, 3 profiles only. Same thing with the Netflix, pay 6,000 rupees and you can create 4 or 5 and you can only share it. Now the Netflix has been changed. They have changed their rules. And for the data limit, so it is 1 GB. I mean, we can get 1 GB of the data into Power BI and we can go for developing of the reports. For pro user, it is 100 TB, 100 terabytes. For premium user, it is 400 TB. And end user end user should require the license to access. Simply, end user should require license to access the report. And what is the refresh limit? What is refresh means? So we have a concept called as schedule refresh in Power BI. What is a schedule refresh? So client requests us to refresh the reports every day, refresh the data set every day. For example, if we are using Excel or the SharePoint folder or database as the data source that we have pulled into Power BI. So we have published the report online. So there are again refresh. There are like 2 types of refresh. Okay, we can refresh manually. So refresh manually. So there are 2 types of refresh. So let me show that to you. So let me show that to you. So there are like 2 types of refresh. First one is manual refresh. Manual refresh. This is in Power BI desktop. Power BI desktop. So every time I go here and I click on refresh, once I get the data into Power BI, I can click on the refresh for the new data, updated data. And second one is schedule refresh. Schedule refresh. For example, we have connected to the database. So every morning, every day, the data in the database gets refreshed in the morning, 8 o'clock, for example, 8 a.m. So what client is requesting, can you please schedule the refresh, or I would like to see the refresh data, updated data when I log in. So I log in at 10 a.m. Okay. So every day, what do? We schedule the refresh. Whenever the data is updated in the database, 1 hour later or 2 hours later, as per the time zone that we are in, we schedule the refresh. So that every day morning, the report will automatically refresh. There is no need of making any manual refresh. So that is schedule refresh. For pro user, it is 8 times a day. So for example, in the morning 8 o'clock, the database gets refreshed, afternoon 12 o'clock, again in the evening 6 o'clock, again at night 9 o'clock. So 4 times every day, the data is refreshed in the database. So what do we need to do? We need to schedule the refresh as per the requirement of the client. So what do we need to do? We need to schedule the refresh. For pro user, for pro user, it is 8 times a day. So okay, you can ignore this. You can ignore this. For pro user, it is 8 times a day. For premium user, so it is 48 times a day. So every half an hour, we can schedule the refresh for a single report. So that is the refresh. And analysis type, for pre and pro, it is basic analysis. For premium per capacity, we have like advanced analysis. What is advanced analysis? Artificial intelligence comes into picture. So we have a new co-pilot, just like the way we have ChatGPT, we have a co-pilot from the Microsoft. So we can also include the co-pilot. For the advanced analysis, you will get co-pilot. So the way we have the way we have Google Drive. So what do we do in the Google Drive? So for free user, so we will get 15 GB as a limit. Now we have a lot of data to be stored. So what do? We buy 100 GB for 699 rupees or 1300 rupees. No, I would like to go for more, 1 TB or 2 TB. So we need to pay more. So we have the same thing. If you want to go for more capacity, so we need to pay more amount. And best for. So this is used for small and medium businesses. For example, if you have startup, only there are 10 or 20 employees working in the organization. So they can go for pro user. Every month they pay some amount to the license and they get the application. And for the premium per capacity or premium per user, so they go for large and big enterprises. So multinational companies or big enterprises, they go for premium capacity, so that every employee in the organization, they can access Power BI Pro license or premium Power BI applications on the cloud. So this is Power BI license. Now let us get into the Power BI connectivity modes. So you can also go here, you can also search for the Power BI license, Power BI license, and click on go here, and you also have the pricing plan. So what do you see? Free. So you can try include in the Microsoft free account, no credit. So if you would like to go for Power BI Pro, it is $14 every month. Okay, you can publish and save the reports. So included in the Microsoft 365. So if you go for Power BI Premium per user, you have more frequent refreshes, you see, available to buy. And if you see Power BI embedded, so you need to contact the Power BI Microsoft team, and you need to get the license from them. So this is, and what do you get? So advanced AI, you do not get it. So only in the Power BI Premium per user and Power BI capacity, you will get it. Advanced data flow. So these are all the, so you see Copilot in Fabric, and you see whatever we have discussed, we have it. 1 GB data limit, refresh 8 per day, 48, 48. And maximum storage, so it is 10 GB per license. It is 100 GB per license, 100 TB. Okay. I think we have the same thing, 10 GB. You see, 10 GB per license. Where is that? Yeah, 1 GB and 10 GB. So this is what we have it. So 10 GB. And also based on the capacity. Now let us see, we have Power BI connectivity modes. Okay, Power BI connectivity modes. Let's see that what we have it in here. So yeah, I think we have discussed it. So let me come down. Now let us go through the connectivity modes. Okay, now let us go through the connectivity modes. In Power BI, there are 3 connectivity modes. In Power BI, there are 3 connectivity modes. The first connectivity mode is import mode. One of the interview questions you are going to get in the interview. So what are the connectivity modes that you have used in your organization? How many connectivity modes are there? Okay. So the first one is import mode. So what is import mode? Get the data from the copy of the data from the data source. Simple. Copy of the data from the source. That's it. From the source, whatever the data that we take into the Power BI. So what do? We go to Power BI. Click on the get data and click on Excel. So apart from the database, whatever the data that we take into Power BI, so we just take the copy of the data, whatever the data that is existing in the Excel, we get it into Power BI. That's it. This is import mode. And the second one is direct query mode. Direct query mode. What is a direct query mode? We will directly connect to, directly connected to the database. So we will be directly connecting to the database. Database, what are all the database? We have SQL Server database, Oracle database, and IBM database. So we will directly from Power BI, we will directly connect to the database. And the next connection is live connection. Live connection. So what is a live connection? We connect to SSAS, SQL Server Analysis Service. Okay, SSAS, SQL Server Analysis Service. So where there is, we can't write anything. We will write only MDX or DAX functions to get the data. We can't see the data when we connect to the live connection. We can't see the data modeling also in the live connection. Let us see the difference in here. So what is import mode? We just import the data from the or copy the data into Power BI. That's it. We just get the data from the source. And what is a direct query mode? Data remains at the source only. So where we get the data from the source only. And what is a live connection? Data and model remains at the source only. Okay. And what is the source connection in the import mode? That is SharePoint, Excel, CSV, PDF. These are all the import mode. And the next one is the database like SQL Server, Oracle are the source connection. And in the live connection, only single connection, that is SQL Server Analysis Service. And the next point is storage limit. For pro user, it is 1 GB. We can store the data 1 GB. For premium, it is 100 plus GB. And the next one is no data limit, because we are directly connecting to the database. So we can directly get the data into Power BI. For live connection, it is 100 TB. So do we have any limit? Yes, we have the limit. So based on the functionalities and DAX usage. So in the import mode, all the DAX functions are supported, but in the direct query mode, so we can't create the calculated columns. We will discuss that in further session. And in the live connection also, all the DAX functions are supported. Coming to the performance, okay. In the import mode and in the live connection, the performance is fast because we are only getting the data from the source. But when we connect it to the direct query mode, okay, so we have the slower performance. It loads, the data loads when we connect to the direct query mode. I mean, when we directly connect to the database. And data refresh or updated data. So we are taking the copy of the data until and unless we click on the refresh button. So the data is refreshed in the Power BI when we go for import mode. But when we go for the direct query mode, whenever we open the Power BI report, so automatically it hits the database and we get the updated data. And in the live connection also we get the updated data. So what are all the views available? For example, if we take the views that we have it in Power BI, so that is 3 views. Okay, what are all the views that are available? There are 3 views. What are the views? Report view, table view, and the model view. When we go for the import mode, we can see all these 3 views. But when we go for the direct query mode, we can see only the report view and the model view. We will not be able to see the table view. Okay. When we go for the live connection, we can only see the report view. We can't see the table view and the model view because the data modeling already happens in the live connection and we will not be able to see the table view. So these are all the Power BI connectivity modes. Now let us see how do we in the practical. Now let us see how do we get the data into Power BI. So let me click on get data. So these are all the common data sources: Excel, data flow, SQL Server. First, let us import the data. You see, when I'm hovering over the Excel, import data from Microsoft Excel workbook. Let me click on this. Okay. For now, let me click on sales. Okay, one Excel file. Click on open. So now it is establishing the connection. And let me select only one table. Okay, so these are all the sheets available in that Excel. Calendar is a sheet, product is a sheet, sales is a sheet, and these are all. Territory is a sheet. So what do we need to do? We need to check the box to get the data, and we can also preview the data. So what kind of a columns that we have it in that. Click on load. Once we click on load, the data will be loaded into Power BI. Okay, now you see the data will be loaded into Power BI. Yes, the data is loading. Yes, 58,189 rows are being loaded into Power BI. So if you see in the data, this sales is the table. So let me expand. So once I expand, I can see the columns that are available in the table. The one which you see with the summation symbol, these are all the numerical data type. Okay, format function, these are all the numeric data type. Okay, so let me go to the table view. So now we are able to see the data in the table format, in the columns and rows. In the model, we will see in the table format only. So now, so this is import mode. Okay, let me click on save as, and let me save the data into the folder import mode. So let me click on enter. Yes, we have loaded the data. Until and unless I click on refresh, we will be able to see the data. So let me click on file again, click on blank report. Now let us go through the direct query mode. Let's see what is a direct query mode. So let me open SQL Server. How do we get the data from the SQL Server? If you want to connect to SQL Server, so what do we need to have? So we need to have the server name and the database name. Okay. So here, let me click on SQL Server directly straightforward. In the SQL Server, when we connect to the SQL Server, we have two connectivity modes. First one is import mode. Second one is direct query mode. Let me expand advanced option. In the advanced option, we have command timeout and the SQL statement. We can write the SQL statement over here. So what do we need to enter? We need to enter the server name. Desktop CKDPU is the server name. Okay, let me enter the server name over here. Yes, we have entered the server name. Let me click on connect. Now, let me enter the database name. For now, let me go for the insurance DB. No, let me go for international export to DB. And let me click on enter. Okay. Here, what do I do? I'll write. Sorry, let me expand the tables. And let me go for this one. Right click and go for select top 1000 rows. So let me take off this. Select the star from. Okay. So now let me copy this and paste it over here. SQL statement and click on OK. Now let us go through the import mode only. Click on OK. You see? So what we have the data over here, HS code, commodity code, state code, whatever the data that we have it over here, we have got the preview of the data. Let me click on load. You see now the data is loading, syncing schema, and now the data is loading. Yes, the data is loaded. Okay, what is the mode? What is the connectivity mode? It is import mode. Let me write import mode and click on enter. Go to the table view. Yes, we are able to see the data. Yes, we are able to see the data. Now let me click on, okay. Now let me go for taking. Okay, now let me go for click on get data. Click on SQL Server. Let us go through the same thing. Now let me select direct query mode. Okay, copy this. And now let me paste the database and also the server name. Okay, and also the server name. Now let me click on OK. Let's see what is the difference that we have it in the, what is the difference between the import and direct query mode. Let it, yes, the data is loaded. Okay, now the data is loaded. Let me rename this as direct query mode. Okay, and now let me go to the table view. Okay, now I'm able to see the data. Import mode, yes, I clicked on import mode. Now I'm able to see the data. Now you observe. Let me click on direct query mode. Now you see we are not able to see the data. Why? This table cannot be shown because it is not in import mode. Okay, when I delete this, for example, when I delete the import mode, we will not be able to see the table view. Now we have import mode and direct query mode. That is the reason we are able to see the table view. And now let me go to model view and let me hover over it. So you see the name is direct query mode, storage mode is direct query, data source type is SQL Server database, and what is the server name and what is the database name. Okay, so this is what we have it. Now you see name, import mode, storage import, and the data is refreshed today at 10:30 a.m. You see, so what is the difference between, and if I for SSAS there is no, we can't connect to SSAS because there is no the server, the application available. So this is the difference between import mode and direct query mode. And one interview question. So why do we go for import mode? Why not? Sorry. Why do we go for direct query mode? Why not import mode? Direct query mode can handle huge amount of data, whereas import mode cannot handle huge amount of data. Okay. And one more thing. So the data is, we will have the slower performance, but we will have the updated data in the real time. But for the what do you say, import mode, it is not updated data. So you can handle, you can explain the same thing in the interview. So if I go for the live connection, okay, let me also show you the live connection. So for live connection, there are two things. The first one is SSAS, and the second one is Power BI semantic model. So you see, create a live connection to semantic models in the Power BI service. So what happens in the Power BI semantic model? So we connect to the data set in the Power BI service in the cloud platform. Let me click on this. Okay. So not in here. Let me go to, let me take a new blank report. So you will easily understand what is the difference between the import direct query mode and the live connection. Now let me click on get data, Power BI semantic model. Now you see we have the pharma sales dashboard. Click on the connect. Once we click on the connect, the data is loaded into Power BI desktop. So what we can do, the next step is go for the data visualization part. Okay, now you see we got the report view, but in the model view, we can't make the changes. Now you see the relationship is faded out. I can't select. I mean, I can't change anything. We have the view available, but I can't change. I can't delete the relation between the tables. I can't edit the relationship. So this is live connection. Okay, this is live connection. Let me save this as live connection. So in the previous video, we discussed about the architecture of Power BI. So what are the connectivity modes, the licenses in Power BI, and the introduction to business intelligence. In today's class, we will discuss about VertiPaq engine. What is VertiPaq engine? So simple, straightforward. For example, when Power BI is a front-end tool, okay, Power BI is a front-end tool. The way we have Excel, we also have the Power BI. Until and unless someone enter the data in Excel, so the data is stored in the Excel. So how does the data is stored in the Excel? Dot CSV file or dot XLSX. So in Power BI, the data is stored in the format called as dot PBIX. For example, in Excel, when we are trying to enter a huge amount of data, so after 10,000, 1 lakh, after 1 lakh, 10 lakhs, so Excel may or may not take more than 1 lakh or more than 10 lakhs. So how to handle such data? So Power BI plays an important role, so which is advanced than Excel. So it stores the data or it handles the data. So, but how does Power BI handle when we try to load 5 GB of data or 1 GB of data or 10 GB of data? For example, Excel or whatever the data source that we are taking to pull the data into Power BI. How does Power BI handle huge amount of data? So Power BI mainly works on So it mainly works on in-memory storage. What is in-memory storage? For example, in our mobile phone, so we have a RAM. Until and unless we open the application in our mobile phone, that application runs on RAM. When we close that application, then whatever the running, it will be closed. So the same way we have it in Power BI, it runs on in-memory storage, and the data is compressed. Okay, the data is compressed. The data is compressed 10 times. 10 times when we pull it into Power BI. For example, if you are trying to load 5 GB of data, that 5 GB of data, 5 GB of data is compressed in between 500 MB till 1 GB. So it compresses around 10 times. And the data is stored in columnar format. Columnar format. So what is columnar format? So we have two types of data storage. Okay, I'm explaining it in a in-depth. None of the trainers or none of them explain in detail about the storage. The data is stored in raw format, row format, and the second one is columnar format. Columnar format. So Excel, the data is stored in row by row or column by column. For example, let us see what is columnar format. So if you see, we have serial number, product, and country. So what is the serial number we have? 1 is the serial number. And what is the product? Let me take the product as AC. And the country is, for example, let me go for the country India. And the next one, let me take the same 2, and it is same thing. The product is AC and the country is India. And here, if you take the third one, let me take. So here, let me take iPhone, and here it is US. And here also the same thing, 4, and here it is iPad, and it is same thing US. So in Excel or in any other programming languages, so the data is stored in raw format or columnar format. So how does the columnar format is stored? So it is stored in the form of dictionary. Okay, it is stored in the form of dictionary. So there are 4 types of special data types in Python. Okay, 4 types of special data types in Python. The first one is list, tuple, sets, and dictionary. Dictionary. So based on the brackets or based on the flower brackets or based on the square brackets, the data is stored in list, tuple, sets, and dictionary. Whereas coming to the dictionary, the data is stored in the form of key value. Okay, the data is stored in the form of key value. So what is a key value? For example, from this example, if you take serial number, product is country. For AC, the columnar format assigns one number. Okay, 1. Okay, for here also AC 1, and the country for here it is stored 1 again, or 2. The number 2. The number 2 is given to here. Okay, and here also 2. And here if you take some number 11, or here if you take for iPad it is 12. For US, the same country, so it gives 3. So here also 3. So how does it store? So it stores in the form of like 2, and it is India. Okay, 3, and it is US. Okay, 1, it is product. 1, it is product. And again 11, it is iPhone. So the data is stored in the form of dictionaries. So that is the reason Power BI can handle huge amount of data. Let us see what do we have in here in the theory part. Okay. So one of the interview questions, definitely one interview question. So you are going to get how does Power BI handle huge amount of data in desktop as well as in Power BI service. The first thing, what happens to 5 GB data in Power BI desktop? So what do we do when we connect to Excel, SQL, or CSV and load 5 GB of raw data? Okay, that 5 GB of raw data is temporarily loaded into the memory. Okay, temporarily loaded into the memory. So this is first thing. And the second is data compression based on the VertiPaq engine. Once we load the data, the VertiPaq in-memory engine comes into picture. And VertiPaq stores the data in column by column, not in the row format, row by row, not row format. The one which we have seen, serial number, product, country. For example, if we only have 4 rows, 4 records, and 3 columns. For example, if you have millions of records, how does it store? If it stores in the raw format, so it would be loading issue. So the data is stored in the column format. So the way we have seen key value, the data is stored in that format. And if you see dictionary encoding, replace repeated value with integer ID or any ID is given to it, and run length encoding and bit packing. So whatever the data that we have, it compresses the data. So how does it compress? It compresses 5 to 10 times depending on the data cardinality. Okay, if you have repeated male, female, so it compresses very high. If we have any unique IDs, so every record has a unique ID, then it does not compress. It takes the way it is. So 5 GB data is compressed into 500 to 1 GB in the PBIX file. And the third one is in-memory model creation. After compression, the data set is fully stored in the RAM. Okay, RAM. Rule of thumb, Power BI need 2 to 3 times compressed model size in RAM for smooth work. And also it is based on the laptop or the system configuration that we use in our laptop. For example, if you have good amount of RAM and ROM hard disk, so then it would be easy for loading the data. Okay, and also it is stored in, and the data is compressed, and the data runs on in memory, and the data is stored in the form of column by column. So this is VertiPaq engine. Okay, then the data is published into Power BI service. So in the Power BI service, for pro user it is 1 GB data limit, and for premium per capacity or premium per user it is 10 GB data. So that is in the Power BI service. And also one more thing, for example, in the organization, 100 people or 200 people opened a report at a time. Okay, so we see that in general we see that there is a server crash. For example, if we try to open one website and many members are opening that website, okay, thousands of people in the world, they are opening the website. If they do not have the capability, I mean that server do not have the processing unit, much more processing unit, so what happens, you get 404 not found or error, some errors. Okay, that is based on the capacity or the processing power. Okay, Power BI also has, in Power BI service also has the processing power. Okay, processing units. So SKUs are the processing power. So we have like F32, P32, P64, or P128, P256. That is to handle huge amount of loading. So in general, the basic one is vCore Power BI Premium Capacity. Okay, vCore. So that is called as P1 SKU 8 vCores. Okay, this means P1 capacity has 8 units of processing power available for its workload. So what do we have? P1 8 vCores. So one of the another interview question is, what is the processing power that you used in your organization? So how does your organization reports are being handled in the Power BI service? So how do you handle that? So you can say that, you can explain them that we use P1 8 vCores. So 8 units of processing power, so that we have smooth handling of the smooth workload of the reports. So this is what we use in the Power BI service to handle the huge amount of data, huge amount of data sets, and many reports. So this is what P1 8 vCores. 80 units of processing power. So now let us get into another topic. So let me get blank report. And now let us jump into the Power Query Editor. Let us have the introduction to Power Query Editor. Let me click on Get Data and click on Excel Workbook. So now let us go through the Power BI transform data. Where is that? Power BI transform sample data. So that Power BI sheet has that Excel has many sheets. Okay. So what do we need to select? Do not select the table. Select only the sheets. If you click on add and subtraction, so you would find the product name, sales amount, quantity, whatever we have it. So let me select another file. Yeah, data transformation. Let me click on OK. I'll share this to you. You can practice it. So what we need to click, if we click on it, we will be able to see the preview of the data that we have it in the Excel. Okay. Now let me select one by one. Check the box to get into Power BI. Date and time, fill, formatting, group by, keep rows and remove rows, merge columns. So these are all the Power BI query editors. Power Query Editor transformation techniques. So that we can work for next week. We will work on this data transformation techniques. So the data is loading into Power Query Editor. So we will be directed towards the Power Query Editor within the Power BI desktop. So let me click on refresh. Okay. So on the left side, what do we have? We have the query pane, query section. In the middle part, we have the table format, table view. We can see the data in the table format. On the right side, we have the properties. What do we have? We have the properties. So under the properties, we have the name of the query, and this is called as a query setting. So we have the applied steps. Okay. On the top, you see, so we have close and apply new source. We can also get the data from Power Query Editor also. Okay. We can also enter the data. The way we enter into the Excel, we can also enter the data. So let me close. And the next one is, so we have different types of transformation techniques: choose column, remove columns, keep rows, remove rows, split columns, group by. And in the transform, we also have extraction of the data, detecting the data type, move. So these are all format, extracting, and all. And in the add column, if you want to add any column based on the specific condition, if else condition or some other conditions, or if you want to extract anything from the column that we already have it, then we can go for add column. Column, from example, custom column, invoke custom column. Coming to the view. So what do we have? Query settings. If I disable this, we will not be able to see the query setting. So let us have this. And we also have formula bar. Okay. So what is formula bar? The one which you see, table dot transform column types. This is called as a formula bar, FX. So if I turn this off, we will not be able to see the FX. If I turn this off, we will not be able to see the formula bar. And the one which you see, the query, transform column types, promoted headers, this language is called as a M language or M query, mashup language or mashup query. So this is called as M query. And there is no need of learning M query because we have all the options available for making the changes to the data. And the next one is we have monospaced. So let me click on monospace. So we will be able to see the space. So let me not, and column quality. So if I click on column quality, in this column, in the top 5 cities, how many of them are valid and how many of them do we have error and how many are empty. So if you see, less than 1% are valid and there are no errors, 0 errors. and 99% of the data is the column is empty. Okay, 99% of the columns are empty. So how do you see? On the bottom left side, you have 20 columns and 999 rows. Okay, how many columns do we have in transpose query? It is 20 columns and 999 rows. And the next one is column distribution. Let me turn this off. So in the column distribution also, there are 4 distinct and 3 unique. So out of all these, null is a distinct, country is a distinct, cities, population are distinct. Let me click on column profile. Okay, so let me go to this column. You will be able to understand. So we will get some statistical information. Okay, what is the count, error, how many of them are empty, how many are distinct, unique, empty string, what is the minimum, minimum is cities and maximum is population. So you will be understanding when I click on, let me click on any other column, keep rows. So yeah, here you will be easily understanding. Okay, what do you see? So unique are 12 unique, minimum is 34, maximum is 45, average is 39.5, standard deviation is 3.6. How many of them are odd? 6 are odd numbers, 6 are even numbers. So this is what we have it in the column profile. So let me turn this off. Now let me click on refresh. Okay, and tools we have, these are all the tools available, and if you want to help, if you want to get the help from the Microsoft, we can click on any of the options for the support, for submitting idea, for developers, for community, for blogs, we can click on all these. So in Power BI desktop, these are all called as tables. Okay, whereas coming to Power Query Editor, these are all called as queries. Okay, how many queries are there? There are 14 queries, 1 4. Okay, 14 queries. So in the queries, what we can do now, let us go through the step by step. Okay, for example, if you want to make any changes to the data, okay, we can easily make the changes to the data by clicking on the different options. The first and foremost option, the first and foremost transformation technique is manage columns. Okay, what is manage columns? So there are 2 transformation techniques available: choose column and remove columns. So let's see what is a choose column and what is remove columns. Let me expand choose column. So what do we have? We have choose column again, go to column. For example, if we have many columns available, so I want to go to some other column. So I can click on go to column and click on column 16 and click on OK. So this is go to column. For example, if we have 50 or 100 columns, we know the name of the column. So we can't scroll right side. Then I can directly go to click on choose column and go to column, type the name of the column and select that column, and we can go to that column. So that is go to column. And the next one is choose column. Okay. Why do we need to choose the column? Because for example, if you observe the data, there are first column is logo, second column is column 2, third column is column 3, and from fourth column we do not have any data. Okay, from fourth column everything is null. You see, let me scroll right side. Okay, column 12 we do not have any data. Till column 16 we do not have any data. Everything is null. I want to only select first 3 columns only. I want to remove other columns. So how do I do that? We have an option called as choose column. Click on that option, select all column, uncheck this, click on logo, column 2, column 3, and click on OK. Once we click on OK, now if you observe, okay, we made one change. What did we made? What did we make? So we made the choose column. Whenever we tried that, you see one step is added, removed other column. That choose column is removed other column. Okay, and the next one that I want to do here is I want to remove DDD 44411 and the nulls from this column in the logo. How do I do that? Expand this The way we do in the Excel, the same thing. Okay, uncheck the null, uncheck the DDD and click on OK. Now you observe in the applied step. Okay, you observe in the applied step. Click on OK. Now you see whatever the changes that we are making, okay, those changes are getting applied as the step in the applied step. Okay, and one more thing to remember while working on the Power Query editor is there is no option called as undo. You can't click on Control Z, Control Z for going to the previous position or previous step. Okay, you can go to the previous step if you want to see what changes that you have done, but there is no option called as undo, Control Z. Okay, we have filtered the rows. And what is the next step? Okay, so you see, you observe, we need to observe the pattern of the data when we work on the data. Okay, here initial first name last name looks like the column headers. Okay, logo column to column 3 should be replaced by initial first name last name. How do we do that? We have a straightforward function or straightforward option called as use first row as header. Click on this. Now you see we have made changes. Now you see we got first row as header has been made. Okay, and automatically we got change type. What is a change type? So the type of the data is getting changed. Okay, so promoted header is the step name. Okay, I can also change the name. Okay, how do I change the name of the step? For example, I want to change promoted headers into some other name. How do I do that? Right click. We have an option called as rename. Click on this. So I can go for making column header change. Okay, column header. So I can make it into column headers. Column headers. Or I can also go for first row as header. Change type. I can also make change to this, rename this. Okay, transform. Okay, transform or data type change or data type change. I can click on enter. So this is what we have it. If you want to get into the previous step, I can click on this. If I want to delete anything, I need to delete this step. I need to delete this step. I need to delete this step. Delete this step. Okay, this is how we have it. So there is no undo. So what do we need to do here again? I can click on the choose column. Click on choose column here again. Okay, uncheck this, select first row, second column, third column, click on OK. Take off the DDD nulls, uncheck this, expand. After expanding, we can do that and use first row as header. Okay, this is what we have it in the manage column. And I would like to create a group. Okay, how do I create a group in the queries? For example, why do we create the group? So we got the data from HR. We got the data from marketing. We have imported the data from the sales. If we mix everything, it would be confusing for us to understand, okay, which data we got from which domain. So in order to do that, what do we need to do? So we need to create the group. Right click. So we have an option called as new group. Okay, what do we do here? I will give the name of the group as manage columns because we are discussing about that transformation techniques. Manage columns. So in the description, I can write. So what is that? Choose columns and remove columns. There are two techniques available. Choose columns and remove columns and click on OK. Okay. And now what do I do? Keep rows and remove rows, right click and move to that group, manage columns. Now you see, and now let me rename this, keep rows and remove rows into the choose column. How do I do that? So I can do it in two ways. Double click on keep rows and remove rows and make it into choose columns. Choose columns and click on enter. Okay, I want to work on this, the same query again. How do I do that? We can duplicate this table or the query. How do we do that? Right click on the query and we have an option called as duplicate. Okay, now what do we have? We have remove columns. Okay, double click, or I can click on here and make it, what is that option? Remove columns. And let me remove this, remove the steps. So we have seen the remove columns. Okay. So in the remove columns, we have two options again. Remove columns, remove other columns. What is the first option? Remove columns. Remove the currently selected column from this table. Whatever the columns that we selected, that will be removed. And remove other columns is selected columns will be retained, and other than that, other columns will be removed. First, let me select from column 4 till column 16. Let me right click, or I can click on remove columns and click on remove columns. So that column is removed. This is first way. And the second way is remove other columns. Whatever the columns that we need to retain, shift and select from column 1 to column 3, go to remove column, remove other columns. Only the selected columns will be remained. So this is choose column and remove column. And we need to do further changes. What are all the further changes? So let me take off this column headers, choose first as header, and now the data looks good. And if you see, whatever the changes that we make, those changes will be remained as the steps in the applied steps. So this is what the choose column and remove column transformation technique. In this video, we will discuss about keep rows and remove rows. So the next data transformation technique that we have is reduce rows. So let me create one separate group. So there is no need of creating directly the group. So what do? I'll right click and move to group and click on new group, so that I'll create the group and directly this keep rows and remove rows query will be into the new group. So let me write reduce rows. The name of the transformation technique is reduce rows. And what I can write here, keep rows and remove rows. Click on OK. Now we have got keep rows and remove rows in a reduce rows group. So now let us work on. So what we have in the reduce rows, keep rows and remove rows. So right click, let me click on duplicate. Okay. So here what do? I'll just make it as a keep rows. Okay. So if you see the first row doesn't make any sense. So what do? I click, I expand it, take off the nulls and DDD and click on OK. And logo column 2, column 3 doesn't make any sense. Initial, first name, last name are the column headers. So we have an option called as use first row as header. Click on this. Yes. After the third column, from fourth till the end of the columns, we do not have the data. Everything is nulls. So we have remove rows, or right click on the column. We have an option called as remove columns. Once we click on that, the columns are removed. Now what do we need to do? We need to keep the rows. So click on the keep rows. We have keep top rows. For example, there are 13 records, 13 rows are available. I do not want all the records for the analysis. So what do? I click on keep top rows and give only 8 rows, which are useful for our analysis. And the next one is keep bottom rows. If I want to keep only bottom 6 rows, I can keep the bottom 6 rows. And the next option is keep range of rows. So how many rows do we want to keep? From first row till 4 records I would like to see. And the next option is keep duplicates. For example, if we have duplicates in this, so let me do one thing. So right click and click on replace value by Chetan. So if I click on keep duplicates, I'll be able to see the duplicate records. For example, if you are working on any project, so we tried analyzing. So we found that there are duplicates. So how do we find the duplicates? So I can click on keep rows and keep duplicates. And keep errors, we'll see that in the further session. This is keep rows. And the next one is remove rows. Okay, what do we have? And the next one is remove rows. And click on enter. So if you see here, we have 15 rows. So what do? I click on remove rows and click on remove bottom 2 rows. So we have nulls. So we have removed bottom 2 rows and also top first row. Okay, remove top rows. Let me click on top number of rows. First row is been removed. So here also let us do the same thing. Shift and select the first 3 columns. Right click, we have an option called as remove columns. Okay, on the right click we get these options, or click on remove rows and click on remove columns. Okay, the columns are removed. The selected columns are removed. Okay, the selected columns are removed. What do we need to do? We need to click on remove other columns. Okay, once we click on remove other columns, the other columns will be removed. Whatever the selected columns will be retained, other columns will be removed. What do we need to do here? Let me click on remove rows. Okay, click on remove alternate rows. If we need to remove the alternate rows, I can give the first row and number of rows to remove. Let me go, and number of rows to keep. Let me only keep 6 rows and click on OK. Now you see we have removed 2 rows and the first row, and the number of rows that we want to keep is 6. But we will not be using this removing alternate rows. This is just for our understanding only. But most of the times what do? We use remove top rows or remove duplicates. Okay. For example, let me do one thing. So let me copy this, and here let me replace value and click on remove duplicates. Okay, click on remove duplicates. The duplicates will be removed. And the next one is remove errors. So in further session, once we get the errors, let us see that remove errors. So this is keep rows and remove rows. So are we good till now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us see date and time extraction. Okay. Before we directly jump into date and time, so let us see what kind of a data types do we have in Power BI. Okay. What kind of a data types do we have? What kind of a data types do we have in Power BI? Data types. So why do we go for data type? I mean, why data types are important in any programming language? For example, if you take any programming language, Python, Java, SQL, Power BI, or any other tools or programming language, the data types are very important for the identification of the column. Okay, data types are useful for the identification of the columns. Why do we need to identify the columns? For example, if I say A, B, C, D, what do we call this as? Alphabets. Alphabets. 1, 2, 3, 4, numbers. Okay, numbers. For example, if I write, these are called as special characters. Special characters. Or if I say A, B, 1, 2, 3, these are called as alphanumeric. Alphanumeric, which is a combination of numbers and letters. So the way we are identifying, okay, the way we are identifying the alphabets, numbers, special characters, alphanumeric, words, paragraphs, okay, we also have the identification for the columns. Okay, in any programming language that we take, the first and foremost, there are 13 data types in Power BI. Okay, out of 13 data types, so few of them are comes under single data type. Okay, now let us see. The first and foremost data type is integer. Okay, the first and foremost data type is integer. And the second one, I mean, in other programming language, it is also called as numeric data type. Numeric data type. Okay, and the next one is text data type. Okay, text data type, in other programming language, it is called as a character or string data type. It is called as string. Third one is date and time. Date and time data type. Fourth one is Boolean. Boolean. What is Boolean? True, false. Okay, true, false. In Power BI, it is called as true, false, but in other programming language, it is Boolean. Fifth one is binary. Binary. What is binary? It is represented in 1 or 0. Okay. Sixth one is, what do we have? We have using local. Okay, using local. So this is 6 data types. But under integer, we have under integer we have whole number. Okay, whole number, whole numbers, and the next one is decimal number, decimal number, and the next one is fixed decimal number, fixed decimal number. Whole number 1 to infinity, whatever the number fall in between 1 to infinity, -1 to infinity, -1 plus 1, all these are whole numbers. Decimal number is the point. Okay, 1.22. Okay, these are all decimal numbers. Fixed decimal number, the number after the point, if we have 2 numbers fixed or 3 numbers fixed, then it is a fixed decimal number. If you go to any shopping malls, okay, in US, you find that $4.99, $5.99, $79, $79.89. So those are all fixed decimal numbers. So that is in the integer. And the next one is in the date. Under the date again, we have date data type. And the next one is time data type. The next one is date, time, time zone. Okay. And again, the next one is duration. Okay. Date, time, time zone. For example, we have different types of time zones, UTC, Universal Coordinated Time, or GMT, IST, CST, PST. Okay. Different types of time zones. And the duration, how much time does the delivery partner took to deliver one product to the customer? That is duration. And if you take Boolean, yes, true, false. If the native Indian, yes, true. Native American, true. Binary, 1 or 0. So it is also like yes or no, but we flag it in the number data type, 1 or 0. Using local. Using local is based on the language. Based on the language. So each and every, for example, if you take the date in India, okay, date in India, what is the date in India? Day, month, year. Okay, date in India and UK. If you take US date, so what is the format? Month, day, year. Okay, that is the using local. So there are 13 data types. Now let us see one by one in here. Okay, if you see here, so we have decimal number, okay, which has decimal number, fixed decimal number, which is currency kind of a thing, whole number. Oh, we missed one thing, percentage. Yeah, one more data type is percentage. Date, time. If the column has the combination of date and time, then it is a date, time, data type. Only date, time, date, time, time zone, duration, text data type, true, false, binary, and using local. Okay, if I click on using local, we get the language and the country. You see, the data type is text and the language is local, is English, India. Okay, we have different types of English in different countries. UK English, German English, Indian English, Middle Eastern English. Okay, so that is what the data types. Remember, why do we need data type? To identify the column. Okay, we can't give the data types blindly. So this is to identify the column. So are we clear till now? about the data types?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us see.
Yes.
Yeah. Now let us see how do we extract date and time. Okay, let me create another group. New group. Date time extraction. Date and time extraction. Okay, so we have date and time. Okay, so what do we do here? Let us see the column 2 and date 1 doesn't make any sense. Let me click on this. Select the columns that we want to delete, remove. Right click or click on the remove columns. Okay, so remove, right click and remove columns. And in the date, we have the nulls. Okay, let me take off the nulls and click on OK. Yes, we have removed nulls from this column. What is the next step? We want to extract time from this date and time column. So I would like to rename this. Okay, how do we rename the column? Simple, straightforward, double click on the column. So type date, time and click on enter. Now you see, when we made the name, okay, when we change the name, now you see the applied step. Whatever the minute changes also that we do on the column, those will be applied as the steps in the applied steps. Okay, and now let us do one thing. Okay, how do we extract the date and time? Click on the transform. Okay, you see date and time column. We have date, time, duration. Now you see date is enabled, time is also enabled. What do we need to do? We need to extract time from this date time column. Okay, we have extracted. Now you see the symbol of the column, the symbol of the data type, the symbol of the column is being changed into clock symbol. Okay, because this column only has the time. But what is the drawback here? The edits are getting applied on the same column. We are not getting it as a separate column. What do we need to do? So we can duplicate this column. Right click, duplicate the column. Right click, duplicate the column. Right click, duplicate the column. So now let me extract the date from this column. Yes, I have extracted, we have extracted date from this column. Now you see it is being turned into calendar symbol. Okay, double click and make it as a date. Rename this as a date. And here also, let me extract time from this. Okay, time only. Yes, we have extracted time. Double click, rename this as time. Okay, so from the date time. Okay, now let us go through each and every individual options available under the date. So what do we need to do? Why do we need this concept date and time? Let me explain you that also. For example, so the company is the product based company is established in the year 2022. Okay, the company is established in the year 2022 January. Okay, 2022 January. So 2023, 2024 and 2025. For example, the sales of 2022 is, for example, let me go for 50 lakhs is the sales of 2022. And for 2023, the sales are 75 lakhs. For 2025, the sales are 1 crore, for example, 1 crore. And for 2025, as we are in 8th month, the sales are like 1.5 CR. Okay. So what do we need here? So we have year has, okay. What is the hierarchy of the date? Date hierarchy has year, quarter, month, and day. Okay, year, quarter, month, day, the date hierarchy. So in a year, okay, in a year, we have 12 months. Okay, we have 12 months, 4 quarters. Okay, in a year, we have 12 months and 4 quarters. In a quarter, we have 3 months. Okay, there are 4 quarters in a year. In a quarter, we have 3 months. In a month, we have 30 days on average. 30 days, 4 weeks. 4 weeks. In a week, we have 7 days. 7 days. So how does the analysis goes into picture? What was the last year sales? Last year sales and this year sales. What was the last year sales and this year sales? Okay, so this is called as, in the technical terminology, in the financial terminology, it is called as year-on-year growth. Okay, year-on-year growth. What was the last month sales and what is this month sales? I'm comparing with current month with. So in the technical terminology, if I write PY is prior year. Okay, prior year, or it can also be called as previous year in normal terminology. Prior year is the financial terminology. The next one is CY. CY is current year or this year. And again, there are two things in for financial. There are two things. First one is calendar year. What is calendar year? January to December is the calendar year. Okay, and the next one is financial year. Financial year. Okay, what is financial year? For example, if we consider India, so it is April to March. Okay, it is April to March. So we have, so the companies, the financial year, it is different from companies to companies. Few companies, they go for calendar year. Few companies, they go for financial year. So in order to deal with, for example, what was the last year? Okay, what was the last quarter sales and what is this quarter sales? So I'm comparing by quarter. So in order to do all these things, there is a requirement of time dimension is very important. Time dimension is important to analyze the trend analysis. Okay, trend analysis. So what we can do in the trend analysis, we can go for daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly analysis. So here if you see, so that is the reason we are trying to extract the date and time is important. Now what do we need to do? Let me extract the year from this column. Okay, we have extracted year. There is no need of writing any code. Directly, straightforwardly, we have the options available in the transformation techniques. We can implement those techniques and we can extract whatever we want to extract. So this is year. So now what do I do? Right click, duplicate this again so that we can extract other information from this column. Okay, so if you see here, date, click on date. Now you see when I clicked on date, you see the feature, Power BI feature, the time and duration, time is faded out. For example, if I click on time, okay, time is enabled, date is faded out. So that is the beauty of Power BI. It automatically identifies the data type. So now let me click on, now let me go to year, start of the year and end of the year. So 31/12/2024, the start of the year is 01/01/2024. End of the year is 31/12/2024. So that is start of the year and end of the year. Okay. Start of the year and the next one is end of the year. Click on year again, click on end of the year. Okay, we got end of the year. End of the year. And what is the next option available? We can extract month out of it. Okay, month, click on month. So we can extract month out of it. month. Okay. Now let me go here again. Click on duplicate this. Duplicate. Okay. So if you see here, let me click on date again. Month, start of the month. 010101 is the start of the month. End of the month. 12. December is the end of the month. Days in the month. How many days are in the month? So 31 days. Yes. Days in the month. Okay. As it is a 12th month. So that is the reason we got 31 days. And the next one is name of the month. What is the name? 12th month is December. Okay. Yes, we got name of the month or month name. And what is the next option? Quarter. Okay, quarter of the year. So there are 4 quarters. So how do we identify the 4 quarters? January, February, March is the first quarter. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So it is the 4 quarters, calendar quarters. Now let me click on, it is quarter. Okay, let me go here again. Okay, we got, I think we duplicated that and we worked on the start of the year. So that is the reason we got same name of the month, same quarter and same days. Okay. So now let me click on month. Yes, we have worked quarter. So start of the quarter, end of the quarter, you can work on it. Week. What is the week of the year? So we get the week of the year. Let me click on duplicate. Okay. Week of the year. Week of the year. Let me click on this again. Click on date. What is the next thing? Start week of the month. So which week the month is? Okay, 20. For example, if you take today's date, okay, 20. So it falls under third week. Okay, that is week of the month. And the next one is day. Let us directly jump into the day. Let me click on day. So now let me write day. And what are all the options available? Click on this. Day of the week. What is the day of the week? Okay, 05 is the first week. Okay, it is going day of the week. Day of the week. And what do we have other options? What is the week? So let me go here. Right click. And the next option is day of the year, start of the year, start of the day, end of the day, name of the day. Okay, we get what is the name of the day. So whether it is a Tuesday, Monday, so that is day name. So this is what we have it in the date. Now let us see the time. Okay, right click, duplicate. Again, right click, duplicate the column. Right click, duplicate. So what do we have? The next one is time, hour. So let me click on hour. I can extract hour from this time, hour. The next one is minutes. Next one is seconds, minutes. Yes, we have extracted minutes. Why do we need time? So we need time in order to measure how much time a delivery partner is taking and what is the duration of Ola, Uber. So that is what we can consider the time. Seconds. So this is about the date time extraction. So you can click on top left side, you can save this report. So there are two options, apply, apply later. For example, if you click on apply, whatever the changes that we did, these changes will be applied in Power BI desktop. Apply later, the whatever the edits we did, those will be saved, but the changes will be applied little later. So this is date time extraction. So the another data transformation technique is split and trim. So if you see, we have split column. Okay, why do we want to split the column? For example, if you order anything from any e-commerce, so what do we do? Or any food delivery applications. So what happens in that food delivery application? So what do we do in the place of address? We write the full address. For example, that e-commerce company want to analyze the state wise or the colony wise or by the country wise. So what do they need to do? They need to see it by the state. So if the state and the country is in the same address, same column, so they need to split that. So how do we split that? By using the option split columns. Okay. So if I expand split column, we have these many options. First and foremost option is by delimiter. What is a delimiter? Whatever the special characters that we see in our laptop's keyboard, those are all called as delimiters. The special characters shift plus 1 till 0, comma, dot, colon, space. These are all the delimiters, the special characters. Before we directly click on by delimiter, let us clean the data. So if you see, we have address column 2, column 3, and what do we have after that? We do not have any data after column 3. So what do we need to do here is, let me click on this and let me uncheck the nulls and click on OK. So we have removed the nulls. The next step is, let us make use first row as header. Okay. Yes, now we made the first row as header. Now what do we need to do? I would like to see flat number 101 or house number in a single column, in the first column. JNTU Maithili Street Pragati Nagar in the second column. Telangana, Chennai or Tamil Nadu, AP, Kerala, Telangana in a separate columns. Okay, how do we do that? The first option is by delimiter. So what are all the delimiter that we have in the flat number? Colon is the delimiter, comma is the delimiter. Okay, if you see in the second column, second row, colon hash by 4, by is the delimiter, comma is the delimiter. So let me click on by delimiter. Okay, Power BI automatically identifies the delimiter as the column, but we do not want to split the data by the column. We would like to split it by the comma. Let us see how do we get, if I click on column and click on OK, how it is going to split. Okay, after flat number, house number, plot number, okay, it is getting splitted at the column. Okay, I do not want that. What do I need to do? I want it by the comma, because I want to see flat number 101, house number 2-3/4, plot number 17. Okay, so click on the setting option, gear icon. Okay, and now what do? I click on the comma. Okay, and there are 3 options available. What is the first option? Split at leftmost delimiter, rightmost delimiter, each occurrence of the delimiter. If I click on leftmost delimiter, after comma, okay, flat number 101, house number 2-3/4 in a single column, others will be splitted into separate column. Let me click on that option first. Okay, flat number 101. Okay, this is first option. Let me click on this again. Okay, rightmost delimiter. What happens at the rightmost delimiter? Telangana, Tamil Nadu, AP, Kerala, Telangana will be in the last, the right one. Okay, this is rightmost delimiter. No, I do not want like that. I want to split it at each and every comma. Okay, each and every comma, and click on OK. Now, if you see flat number 101, this is the house number. I can simply write house number. So how do we make the changes to the column name? Double click on the column and write house number. House number. Okay, click on insert. The next one is street. Okay, double click and click on insert. Let me delete the last step. Okay, and the next one is state, or let me write colony. Okay, here let me write, okay, here I'll write city. Okay, and the next one I'll go for writing state. Now you see there are 4 columns combined. Okay, there are 4 columns combined in this single column. So the third one, the full address 5. Let me remove this. Okay, let me remove this. This is splitting by the delimiter. So what we have got in the delimiter, either we can take the common delimiters or I can go for custom. In the custom, I can write type, comma, or whatever the delimiters that I have at the rate. These are all the delimiters. Okay. If you want to split it at this delimiters, at the special characters, we can enter this. Okay. And also, what do we have in the advanced option? Do you want to split it by the columns or by the rows? Okay, there are again two options available in the advanced options. Okay, do you want to split it by the column or by the row? Okay, what do you get after if you split it by the row? You will get it row by row. Okay, let me click on rows and click on OK. Okay, now you see we got by the row, each and every row. Everything whatever we see which is separated by the comma is now we are able to see in the row by row, row by row, row by row. But we do not want like that. We want to see it by the columns only. Okay, click on OK. Okay, now let us come to the last step. Now you see we have got splitted by the delimiter by delimiter. What is the next option available? By number of characters. Okay, if I click on number of characters, after each number of characters, everything will be splitted. For example, if I give 2, okay, at each 2 characters, it will be splitted. FL, HO, PL will be in the separate column and everything will be moved to the second column. Okay, once as far left as possible. Okay, let me click on this. Okay, FL is on the and everything will be on the second column. Or let me click on this again. Right as far as possible. Okay, 101. Okay, by 4, 17 by C, 20 will be splitted into the right. Okay, you see, splitted into the right column. If I go for repeatedly, after each and every 2 characters, the column will be splitted. Okay, after each and every 2 characters, the column will be splitted. Okay, this is by delimiter. Okay, and also in the advanced option, what do we have? Columns or rows? How do you want to split it? By the columns or by the rows? Let me remove this. Okay, why it is taking the character? For example, if you take the number of character, okay, if we take the number of characters, so let me go here, let me explain you. For example, if I go here, okay, if I write anything, okay, for example, let me write Asif, okay, Ashif, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, Ashif Muhammad, for example, if I go for it, if I write the number, okay, the character, it gives the number, it starts from 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, Ashif, it is 5 characters, okay. If I go here, space will be considered, space will also be considered as 1 character, 6, okay, again 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 characters, okay, in the Ashif Muhammad. If we take the length of the characters, so the index starts from first. A is 1, S is 2. So like that, it starts. So after every 2 characters, okay, it splits. If we go for every 2 character, it splits. Again, it splits. Again, it splits. MO, it splits. HA, it splits. Okay, it splits like this. This is by number of characters. And what do we have after that? By position. Okay, what do we have? We have by position. If I give the number of position, okay, 0, 5, okay, and if I click on OK, after 0, after 5th character, it splits. Okay, after 5th character, it splits. Okay, flat, and again space. FL80, again we got space. House, yes, 5 characters. Plot, house, 5 characters. Flat, 4 characters, and space is another character. So like that, by space, by position also it splits. Okay, by position also it splits. What is the next thing? By lowercase to uppercase. Okay, if I click on lowercase to uppercase, okay, after lowercase, okay, we do not have that. Let me do one thing. Okay, let me change replace value by PLOT. Okay, let me click on OK. So what is the next option? By lowercase to uppercase. Whatever we have after that, it will be splitted. Okay, we do not have that. Okay, let me do one thing. Replace value PLOT. Okay, lowercase to uppercase. Whatever we have after the lowercase to uppercase, it will be splitted. You see, after the lowercase, whatever the uppercases that we have, it will be splitted. And what is the next one? Uppercase to lowercase. Whatever we have, the characters after the uppercase, it will be splitted. And one more thing that we have it is, let me replace it. Okay, let me write James Bond. Okay, 007. Okay, and now let me write replace value. Okay, 007 James Bond. We have the next is split digit to non-digit and non-digit to digit. Let me click on this. Whatever we have after the digit, it will be splitted. So this is digit to non-digit. Non-digit to digit, whatever we have after the digit, after the text, it will be splitted. So this is digit to non-digit and non-digit to digit. Okay, for example, if I want to delete, okay, for example, if I want to delete, there are many steps in the applied steps. Okay, if I want to delete, I need to go one by one, but I want to delete all these steps in one go. How do I do that? So click on the right click on the step. Okay, we have an option called as delete until end. If I click on this, what it is saying, are you sure you want to delete until the end? This step will delete the current step and subsequent steps from your query. Okay, what happens? The current step that we are on, okay, split column by delimiter, and whatever the steps that we have under that step will be deleted. Let me click on OK. Now you see we have deleted all the steps. So this is split column. And now let us go through split column, split by delimiter. Okay, same thing again. We have the same thing, but it is repeated. Okay, let me take off the nulls. Click on OK. Let me make it use first row as header. Now you see we have got order ID, TXUNOH. These are like states in US. 2019, these are all the year. 152156, these are all the zip codes or the pin codes. Okay, what do I need to do? I can split. Okay, I can split by delimiter. Okay, automatically it identified the delimiter and click on OK. Now you see we have separated all these. Okay, now let me rename this as state. Okay, and again here I'll go for zip code or pin code. Yes, we have split it by delimiter. And the next one is prefix and suffix. Okay, what do we have? Prefix and suffix. Let me do one thing. Text with the delimiter. Okay, let me go to transform. So we have an option called as format. Okay, first let me extract. Let us go through the next transformation technique, extract. Before we directly jump into this, let me click on take off the nulls. Okay, let me rename this as format. Click on enter. What do I do? Let me click on extract. Okay, click on the first one. Okay, if I click on the first one, length. Okay, what we have got? We got the length of the character. Okay, what do we have? Mr. @Joe #root. The length of these characters are 11. Okay, this is the way we can extract the length. Okay, the way we have seen in here. So these are all the length of the characters. Okay, 14 is the length of character. And what do we have? Let me remove this. What is the next thing that we have? First characters. For example, if I want to extract first two characters, and I can click on OK. I can extract first two characters from the column. Now let me take this off. And the next one is last characters. If I go for last 4 characters, I can extract the last 4 characters. Or what is the next one? Range. Okay, if I give the starting range, index is 0, and number of characters that I want to extract to, I can click on enter. Okay, here the index is starting from 0. Okay, here the index is starting from 0. This is extracting. And next one is text before delimiter. For example, what is the delimiter over here? We have @ and hash. If I write @ we get Mr. Mrs. Okay, click on enter. Or if I go for hash, whatever the text that we have before the hash, we can extract. Okay, this is the text before delimiter. Text after delimiter. If I want to extract after hash, I can click on hash and I'll click on this. Now you see root, Clark, Ponting, Hayden. Okay. This is after delimiter. And what is the next one? Between delimiter. Okay. What do we have the delimiter? @ and hash. And if I click on this, now we can extract the text between the delimiters. Okay. This is text with the delimiters. Let me move this into split column. Move to group, split column. And what do we have the next one? Prefix and suffix. Okay, what do we have? Prefix and suffix. For example, if you see, let me take off. First, let me remove the column 4. How do we remove column 4? There are, first way is click on the column 4. Okay, go to remove column, remove columns. Second way is right click and click on remove columns. Okay, remove. And now let me take off the nulls. Okay, now if you see the last name, okay, so we have discrepancy in the R is capital, last letter is capital, which doesn't make any sense. What is the, how can we deal with such scenario? We have an option called as format. Okay, we have an option called as format. Click on the format. We have lowercase, uppercase, capitalize each word. The way we see the same options in Excel, we have it in the option wise. In Excel, what do? We click on lowercase. You see, if you see small a and capital A. Okay, if you ever see in the Excel, we have that option. So let me click on lowercase. Everything becomes lowercase. So let me click on uppercase. Everything becomes uppercase. Let me click on capitalize each word. What is capitalize each word? The first letter would be the capital letter and remaining letters would be the small letters. And let me click on trim. For example, if you have anything, okay. So let me get, I think we have the data. Let me click on new source and click on data transformation. I think we will have it. I think we haven't, did we get all? Let me come down, transpose text with delimiter. I think we have extracted all. Okay, no worries. So what do we have here? The next step is, okay, go to transform, format, trim. So for example, if you have, let me do one thing, okay, replace value, Kumar, and click on OK. For example, if you see, why are we not getting? No, we are not getting. Trim, what does it do? Trim whatever the leading or trailing spaces that we have in the data, we will get it. Okay, leading or trailing spaces in the data, we will get it. Replace value. No, we haven't got. So it is not taking. So no worries. No worries. We will see that. So replace is the thing that we get it. Trim whatever the leading spaces. Okay, remove leading and trailing white spaces from each cell in the selected column. So that is format. And what do we have? We have add prefix or suffix. For example, let me click on add prefix so I can easily add it. So let me click on this. Okay, click on capitalize each word. So what do I would like to do here is I would like to match first name and last name. Okay, what is the thing that we want to do here is I would like to combine first name and last name. How do we do that? Shift and select the next column. Okay, go to home. So I think we have it over here. Merge columns. Okay, we have an option called as merge columns. So what we will get when we do merge columns? Concatenate the currently selected columns into one column. Okay, let me click on merge columns. Okay, and what is the separator? Let me make it space is the separator between the first name and last name. And what is the name of the column? Let me make it full name and click on OK. Now you see we got the full name. Okay, we got the full name. What is the next option? Add prefix or suffix. What is prefix? Whatever we want to add before the text. Prefix is before the text. Let me write Mr. Okay, let me write Mr. and click on OK. We got the Mr. But there is no space in between the Mr. and the name. So what do I do? Click on the gear icon here and enter space and click on OK. Again, same thing. Format, click on add suffix. So this is after we added the after the text end of the text. Okay, enter a text value to add to the end of each value in the column. For example, if I do not give the space and if I write sir, for example, let me write sir. Okay, so we got everything without space. How do we give the space? Enter a space and click on enter. Now you see we have added sir. You might have got one question. For example, this is so dynamic. Okay, this is so static. Everywhere it is getting Mr. and Sir is added. For example, if you want to add it for the female and male, how do we do that? So for that also we have add columns. In the add columns, what do we have? We have custom column and conditional column. Based on the custom and conditional column, we can add the prefix and suffix or whatever the changes that we want to do. Okay, this is format. Let me right click and move to group, new group called as format and click on OK. Okay, so we also have here the formatting. Let us see the again, because when you practice with different examples, it would be easy for you to remember. Let me click on this, take off the nulls. First and foremost, when we get the data into Power BI, we need to go to data Power Query editor and check whether do we have any discrepancies in the data. If we have any discrepancies in the data, we need to clean the data. Okay, so let me go to home and click on use first as header. Okay, now what do we need to do? We need to either we can go to transform and click on format and make it capitalize each word. Again, click on the second column, capitalize each word. Then what do we need to do? Shift and select the next column. Either I can go to click on merge columns or right click. Here also we will get the options. Okay, merge columns. Okay, here what do I do? Space is the delimiter or the separator that we need to have it. And here I'll go for full name and click on enter. Okay, right click, move to group. What is that group name? Format. So this is format. And the next one is fill. Okay, what is the next transformation technique? Fill. For example, if you see, we need to observe the pattern of the data. I can't directly select the first column and remove the nulls. If I do that, I may miss the data. Okay, that is not the right. Whichever has the full data, okay, sales amount, okay, we have the full data. Click on this sales amount and take off the nulls. Okay, for example, if you see APKL belongs to India. Okay, Ohio, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Texas belong to India. Hiroshima, Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka belongs to Japan. I mean, based on the observation, based on the pattern of the data, we can say that, okay, these states belong to the respective countries. So I want to have in place of nulls as India, in place of nulls, America, in place of nulls, Japan. How do we do that? We have an option called as fill. Okay, what is the definition? Fill cell values to the neighboring empty cells in the currently selected column. How do we want to fill? Do we want to fill up or do we want to fill it down? Let me click on down. Now you see we got the data filled. So now we are able to see that, okay, these states belong to India. These states belong to America. These states belong to Japan. So let me do one thing. Let me replace value, okay, by null. By null. Okay, click on OK. What do we do here? Fill up. Okay, now you see I have filled up. If there is a discrepancies in the data, if we have the nulls or blanks, or we feel that after looking at the pattern of the data, we feel that this belong to this respective category, or this subcategory belong to category, or this hierarchy, or we have a hierarchy in the organization. Okay, employee, team leader, team manager, or general manager, vice president, CIO, CEO. Okay, so if this belong to that hierarchy, then we need to go for filling the data. Okay, this is fill the data. And what do we have? Merge columns. Same thing. Let us go with one more example. Take off these nulls. Okay. And make first row as header. Okay. And what do I do? So click on this. Click on the last name. Shift and select. Right click. Merge columns. Okay. By the space. Make it full name. Click on enter. And go to transform. Click on the full name. Click on format. And make it capitalize each word. Now you see we made the full name. This is called as a merge column. So right click, move to group, new group, make it as a merge columns. Merge columns. Click on OK. Okay, now you see we have moved into merge column. The first and foremost data transformation technique in this video is transpose. Okay, so if you take Excel, okay, we have in Excel, for example, we use regularly in the Excel. So for example, if I write, I have the product name and city, sales. The product name is AC, city is Hyderabad, okay, and the sales is $1,000. The product name is iPhone, Delhi, and the sales are 2,000 rupees. And the next one is iPad. The city is, let us go with Chennai, and the sales are $4,000. So we have an option called as, so let me copy this, okay, and Control C, and right click, we get an option in the paste options. Okay, what are all the paste options? Value, direct normal paste, 1, 2, 3 only values, any formulas, and we have an option called as transpose. Okay, what did we do? We clicked on transpose. When we made the transpose, okay, so let me click the same thing, copy this, copy again, right click, we have transpose. So what is transpose? Converting rows to columns, columns to rows. Okay, if you see product to city sales, the product to city sales, when it was in the columns, it is being changed into rows. Okay, and again here, when it is in the columns, when it is in the rows, okay, product to city state, when they are in the rows, it is being converted into columns. Let us see how do we implement in Power BI. Okay, so if you see here in the transpose options, we have top 5 cities, column 2, column 3, column 4, and what do we have? Till there are how many columns are there? On the bottom left side, we can see there are 20 columns and 999 rows. Okay, and the column profiling is based on the top 1,000 rows. So we get the data, we get the profile based on the top 1,000 rows. So if you observe from column 10, we do not have any data. Everything is null. Okay, what do I do? Shift and select column 20 till column 20, from column 11 to column 20. Right click. We have an option called as remove columns. We can also do it by going home and click on remove columns. Okay. And what is the next thing? What is the next thing? Let us remove the nulls. Okay. The next thing is that from top 5 cities, let me take off the nulls. We have removed the nulls. Go to transform. We have an option called as transpose. Okay, transpose this table, treating rows as columns and columns as rows. Let me click on transpose. Whatever we have it in the column wise, everything turns into rows. Okay, now you see country, cities, and population. So any one of you, if I want to convert this country, city, population as column 1, column 2, column 3, what is the option do I need to click? I want to convert this country, cities, and population as the column headers. How do I do that? And if you see Texas, New York, Dallas, these are all belong to USA. So I want to make nulls as USA. What is the option that I need to click? I want this USA to be continued till 8th row. How do I do that?
Duplicate. Duplicate.
Not the duplicate. One option we have. So Texas, New York, Dallas, Chicago, these cities belong to USA. Okay. How do I fill these nulls to make USA? In the previous session, we discussed straightforward option. Go to transform. We have an option called as fill. Click on fill down. Then everything becomes USA. Okay, this is transposing the data. Okay, country, cities, population. Now, if you observe, now we have the clean data. Okay, this is transpose. Now let us click. Now let us see other transformation technique, that is group by. Okay, other transformation technique, group by. What is group by? Let me explain you what is group by. Okay, what is group by? So, for example, group by. If you want to see the summarized data, okay, summarized data, we go for group by. We go for group by. So what is group by? For example, let me take one small example. Okay, we have region, okay, we have state and population. Region, state, population. So what is the region? Let us go with Asia. Okay, let us go with Asia. So here the state, or let me go for country. Okay, Asia, country, and the next one is state. State. So if I go here, the country is China. So here the state is Wuhan. Okay, and the population is 10 million. So here let me take the Asia. Country is same China. So state is, for example, let me go for Beijing. Okay, Beijing is one of the states. Okay, and the population is 30 million. Next one, same thing, Asia. And here I'll go for Indonesia. Indonesia. So the country, the state, the normal, let me take Bali and 40 million. So here let me go for taking Asia. Same here, Indonesia. And here let me go another some random Chingpi or something. Okay, so let me go for 50 million. Okay, let me go here with Europe. Okay, Germany. Okay, state Munich. Okay, here I'll go for 40 million. So here also same thing, Europe. And let me go for Italy. And let me go for Milan. And here 50 million. For example, if I want to see the group by, okay, group by region population, region wise population. What do I get? Region Asia, it sums up total, okay, 10 million plus 30 million plus 40 million plus 50 million. Okay, what it becomes? 90, 120, 130 million. Okay, Asia population is 130 million. Okay, next one, Europe population is 90 million. Okay, this is overall summarized data, group by region wise population. Okay, and the next one is group by country population. If I go for country wise population, what do we get? Okay, China, okay, 10 plus 30, 40 million. Okay, 10 plus 30, 40 million population. Indonesia, okay, Indonesia, what is Indonesia's population? 40 plus 50, 90 million. 90 million. Next, Germany, 40 million, 40 million, and Italy, 50 million. Okay. For example, next thing, if I go for state-wise population, we get individual state-wise. Okay, Wuhan 10 million, Beijing 30 million, Bali 40 million. So like that we get. So if I go for region and country-wise population, we get Asia, China population, Asia, Indonesia population, Europe, Germany, Europe, Italy population. Okay. What is group by? If you want to see the summarized data, overall data. For example, if I go, the population of India is 1.4 billion. So the next level, population of state is individual state-wise, I get the population. Okay. Population of districts under the state, I'll get individual district under state-wise. Okay. This is group by population. Let us see that with example. The first and foremost thing, from fifth column till seventh column, right click and remove the columns. Now let me take off the nulls out of this table. Asia, China, Wuhan. Okay, we have the, let me click on go to, we have group by, go to home, click on group by. Okay, we have basic, advanced. Okay, specify the column to group by and desired output. So what do we have? I would like to group by region. Okay, what is the column name? Column name, it is total population. So let me write the column name, total population. Okay, and what is the operation that we want to make it? Do we want to go for sum, average, median, minimum, maximum, count rows? Okay, for now, let me go for sum. What is the column that we want to apply the sum? That is population. Let me click on OK. Okay, by Asia, the population is 250 million. Europe, it is 100 million. Okay, everything is counted here. So this is group by. For example, let me click on setting option. Let me go for country-wise population and click on OK. So China, Japan, Germany, Italy, we got the country-wise population. Now I want to see the state-wise population. I can click on state and click on OK. Yes, now we are able to see the state-wise. Now I want to group by more than one column. How do I do that? Click on advanced option, select region, click on add grouping, select country and click on OK. We get Asia region-wise and country-wise population. Asia is the region, China is 150 million. Okay, you see China, Wuhan plus Beijing. Okay, 80 plus 70, 150 million. Tokyo plus Hiroshima, 60 plus 40, 100 million. Okay, again, Germany, Munich, Berlin. Okay, 40 plus 30. Italy, Milan. Okay, 30 million. So this is the way of grouping by the rows. So if you want to see the summarization of the data, we group by. So this is group by. Are we clear till now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let me go to transform again. So let me click on transpose. Okay. Click on refresh. So the next option that we have is reverse rows. Okay. If I click on this, okay, click on reverse rows. If I click on reverse rows, everything will be reversed. Okay. Previously, what do we have? 80, 150, 67. Okay. If I clicked on reverse rows, then we get reverse of the rows. Count rows. If I click on count rows, okay, I will get number of rows in the table. Okay, this is counting the rows. Okay, so now let us go through the pivot and unpivot of the data. Okay, pivoting and unpivoting of the data. We get pivot and unpivot. Right click on it, click on move to group and new group. So let me write pivot, pivot and unpivot. Okay, what is unpivot and unpivot? Changing rows to columns, okay, and columns to rows, is pivot and unpivot. Okay, so let me also right click and move to group pivot unpivot. Okay, so where is the pivot unpivot? Yes, here we have it. Now let me rename this as pivot. Click on enter. So if you see, we have year Jan, February, March, April. Okay, we have it in the columns. Okay, we have it in the columns. Go to transform. We have an option called as unpivot columns. Okay, expand it, unpivot other columns. Okay, unpivot, what happens in the unpivot? Okay, whatever we have in the columns, that turns into rows. Okay, how does it turn into rows? In the unpivot, it turns into attribute. Okay, the combination of, okay, it is a pair. Okay, pair in a pair called as attribute value pair. Okay, attribute value pair. So whatever we have in the columns turns into rows. Okay, in the form of attribute and value. Okay, if you see, so previously what we have, so if I go to the previous, we have year Jan, February, March, April, May are in the columns. When we converted that into unpivoted, okay, these Jan, Feb, March turned down into a rows. Whatever the respective values that we have it under the month are turned into the values. So this is unpivoted other columns. Okay, this is unpivot. Let me right click. Okay, this is unpivot. Sorry, this is unpivot. Okay, let me right click and click on duplicate and pivot the column. Okay, what do we have? Attribute value. Let me click on value. So whatever we have, okay, whatever we have under that, okay, let me click on attribute. Okay, so let's see what do we have. No, we haven't got right. Let me click on value. Okay, so whatever we have it in the form of rows, it is being turned into columns. 2019 a column, and the attribute and the Jan, February, the month fall under it, and the value comes in under it. You see, April, May, June, okay, everything, the month has been turned into rows and the year has been turned into columns. And whatever the associated values under the year, those are being under the years. Okay, this is pivot and unpivot. Let us see. So let me click on this, right click and remove this. Let us go through the Google and see in Power BI. Let me go to images. Okay, let me go to images. Okay. Which you see attribute and the values. What are attributes? A1, A2, A3 are the attributes. And what are values? V1, V2, V3, these are all the values. Okay, associated under the attributes. Okay, when we turn the table into unpivot columns, okay, then that would be turning into attribute value pair. Okay, attribute value pair, where columns become rows. Okay, so now let us see reduce column. What do we have in the reduce column? Yes, we can reduce the column. Click on all three columns and right click and remove other columns. Whatever the columns that we have, it will be removed. The next one is statistical columns. Okay, the next one is statistical columns. So let me take off nulls and click on OK. So go to transform. So in the transform, what do we have? We have number column. Okay, and what do we have? We have number column. Move to group, click on new group and write a number column. Number column. Okay. So in the statistical column, what do we have? Let me click on sales amount. So once I clicked on sales amount, what do we have? Statistics enabled, standard, scientific, trigonometry, rounding, and information. Okay. Let me expand statistics. So what do we have under the statistics? Sum, minimum, maximum, median, average, standard deviation, count values, count to distinct values. Click on sum. When I click on sum, once we click on sum, 25,000 plus 22,000 plus 18,000, we get the value like this. Okay, we get the sum of sales amount. So now let me take off the nulls also. Take off the nulls, we do not have anything. So click on sum. Once I clicked on sum, everything becomes added. Whatever the values in that column will be added, and we got 1,02,000. Okay, that is sum. Let me click on this. Again, go to transform, click on minimum. So we get the minimum value. 10,000 is the minimum. So we get the minimum value. Okay, this is minimum value. And the next one is transform, click on maximum. We get the maximum value. Okay, and let me click on this again. Go to transform, click on median. Okay, so we have three things in the statistics that is okay, mean, median, and mode. Okay, mean, median, and mode. So what is mean? Mean is average. Simple. Mean is average. What is an average? For example, if I have 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. So if I want to see the average of 1 2 3 4 5, so it would be like sum of values. What are sum of values? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 divided by number of values, that is 5. So what is average? 1 plus 2 plus 3. 3, 6, 10, 15. 15 divided by 5. So the average is 3. Okay, this is mean or average. What is median? Okay, we have the same thing. 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6. For example, we have 6 numbers. Okay, if this median is based on the even or odd numbers. Okay, if the values, if the numbers are even, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6, there are 6 numbers, so it is even. If it is even, it takes the middle two values. Okay, middle two numbers and sum of middle two numbers. It is sum of middle two numbers and divided by 2. Okay, divided by 2. Okay, what is that? 3 plus 4 divided by 2. It is 3.5. 7 divided by 5, 2, it is 3.5. If it is even odd number, it takes the middle number. Simple. Okay, if it is a even number, it goes for the middle two number, sum of middle two number. If it is odd number, it takes middle number. That is median. What is mode? Mode is a repeated number. A repeated number. Mode is repeated number. Okay, 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 2 comma 3 comma 3 comma. So we get whatever the most repeated number, 3 as the mode. Okay, now let us see. Now let us see. Click on median. We get the median number. Okay, and the next one is, let me click on this, transform. Next one is average. Okay, 17,000 is the average. Okay, again, let me go to transform. What is the next thing? Standard deviation. You can ignore this standard deviation, which is completely statistics. Ignore that. Go to transform, count. Okay, count values. So we get number of records in that column. And the next one, count distinct. So it eliminates the duplicate value. Okay, that is count distinct. And the next one is standard calculations. Okay, add. So if I click on add, if I want to add anything, okay, 599, or if I want to add anything, okay, 99, okay, 25,000 plus 99, 22,000 plus 99, okay, 99 will be added to each and every row. Okay, this is add. I can click on multiply. If I want to multiply with 2, I can click on OK. So it will be multiplied. Next one is subtract. If I want to subtract anything, okay, 95. Okay, if I want to subtract anything, we can subtract it. Click on this, divide. If you want to divide anything by 3, I can get it. Okay. Next one is integer divide. So if you want to go for integer divide, we can also go for integer divide. Next one, modulo. Okay. Let me go for 3 and click on OK. And what is the next one? Percentage. So if you want to find out the percentage, okay, let me go to integer divide. So if what is that? Percentage. If I click on 10 percentage, okay, what is the 10 percentage of 5,567? So we get some number 556.7. Okay, 10 percentage. If I go for percent of, okay, percent of 10, so it will be multiplied by 10. So that is percentage and percent of. Percentage and percent of. Okay. Next one is scientific calculation. Okay. Next one is scientific calculation. Absolute value. For example, if we have, let me replace the value minus 234. Okay. Click on enter. Okay. If I make absolute value, whatever the negative values that we have, it turns into positive. That is absolute. Power. Okay, we have square, cube, power. Okay, if I make it square, we get huge number. Okay, we get huge number. Let me divide it by 100. So we get huge number. So that is the reason. So click on power square root. We get the value. Okay, we have studied when we were in school days. Cube, we get some value. Okay, the next one is exponent, logarithm, factorial. Okay, we know we have studied the factorial. If you remember from our schooling days, 4 factorial is 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. We get 24. So that is, we will discuss about what is the difference between duplicate versus reference. So click on transform data. So there are various use cases of duplicate and various use cases of references. So now let us see that. So let me take any one of the query over here. Okay. For now, let me take the statistical column. So not statistical, yeah, statistical column. So let me right click and move to group, duplicate. Let me create a new group, duplicate versus reference, duplicate versus reference, and click on OK. So where is that duplicate versus reference here? So if you see here, we have a lot of steps. So if you want to delete all the steps in a single selection, so right click on the step that we want to delete, and we have an option called as delete until the end. Click on this and click on delete. Yes. So we have deleted all the steps in a single deletion, in a single step. So if you see here, let me also remove this. So what we have, so whenever we work, okay, whenever we get the project or whenever we get the requirements from the client, so what do we need to do? We should not be working directly on the main data. So whenever we get any project, first thing what we need to do here is, so we should not directly work on the main project, main data itself. So what do we need to do? So let me rename this as main table, and click on enter. Okay, we got main table. So in the main table, what do we need to do? So we need to duplicate this. So right click, we have an option called as duplicate. So let me rename this as duplicate table. Duplicate table. Okay, that's well and good. So if you see in the duplicate table, we got 4 steps. Okay, source, navigation, promoted headers, change type. Okay, so in the main table, so we got 4 steps: source, navigation, promoted headers, and change type. So right click, we have an option called as reference. So when I made it as a reference table, okay. So how many steps are we able to see? Only single step, that is source step. What is the source step? So from the main table, it only picks the last step. whatever the changes that are being applied on the main table, that steps are being applied on the reference table, but only single source step. Okay. So duplicate, when we do the duplicate of main table, duplicate table is independent of the main table. First point. Reference table is dependent on the main table. Okay, this is the first point, the difference between duplicate versus reference. And in the main table, so let me make some changes. Now let me remove the nulls. Okay, let me take off the nulls. So I removed the nulls, and also from here also let me remove the nulls. Okay, we removed the nulls. So let me go to duplicate table. So let us see whether whatever the changes that we made in the main table, are those changes are applying in the duplicate table or not. So in the duplicate table, no changes are applied. Okay, we do not find any changes that is being getting applied from the main table. Whereas coming to reference table, so you see, so whatever the changes that we made in the main table, those changes are applied in the reference table. Okay, this is the second point. What is the second point? Whatever the changes that we do in the main table, those changes will not be applicable in the duplicate table, but in the reference table, those changes are applied. This is the second step in the duplicate versus main table. So duplicate versus reference table. And it only takes the last step. Okay, it only takes the source step. And here, so let me make some changes. Okay, let me go to duplicate table. For example, if I make any changes in here, okay. So if I go here, if I take off the, so let me delete any one of the, so cost of goods, let me delete this. Okay, remove the column. And let me go and check main table. Okay, let me go and check main table. Cost of goods is not deleted. Okay, in the reference table, if I delete cost of goods, okay, and let's check whether we have the data, that column is removed in the main table or not. Okay, main table is not affected by the duplicate or reference table. The third point is whatever the changes that we do in the duplicate table or the reference table, those changes will not be applicable in the main table. Okay, this is the duplicate versus reference. So in the duplicate table, so what do we do in the organization? So in the organization, we do not directly work on the table. Okay, we do not work directly on the main table, because sometimes we may lose the main data. So that is the reason we do not directly work on the main table. So let me take off the nulls. Now if you see, we have sales amount, quantity, price, okay, and cost of goods. For example, if I want to know about the price, okay, so what do I need to do? I need to multiply quantity multiplied by sales. We have a simple formula for calculating the sales or revenue. Okay, simple general formula. What is that formula? Price multiplied by quantity. Simple. How simple it is? For example, there are each apple price is, for example, 10 rupees. Okay, I bought 2 apples. So what is the formula? Price 10 multiplied by 2. 10 multiplied by 2. So it is 20 rupees. So like that. So here also we have the formula. So how do we apply the formula? So for now, let me use the custom column. We will discuss in further session. So let me take quantity, price multiplied by quantity. Okay. So let me go for revenue. Okay. Let me click on OK. Okay. So I got the revenue. Let me make the changes. Let me make this into whole number. Okay. And we also have cost of goods. Okay. So for manufacturing each product, it is 20 rupees. Okay. For manufacturing each product, it is 20 rupees. So what I want to find out, net sales. Okay. Here net sales. Simple net sales. Okay. Simple net sales. So what is the net sales? Let me explain you for 1-2 minutes. For example, I have a tea shop. tea shop or pani puri. Simple thing, tea shop or pani puri. So every day the tea shop person is making 3,000 rupees. So he is getting every day he is generating revenue 3,000 rupees. But in that 3,000, 500 rupees for milk. Okay, 500 rupees for milk. 500 rupees for cylinder. Okay, I'm taking everything for cylinder, for I can simply say gas, tea powder, coffee powder, and also rent. Okay, let me take. Okay, 1,000 rupees he is spending everything on the maintenance, and also the product that we want, the milk. Okay, 500 rupees. So 1,000 rupees. So every day he's spending 1,000 rupees. 3,000 multiplied by 30. Okay, 3,000 multiplied by 30. It is 90,000 rupees is the revenue that he is making. But out of that, 1,000 rupees he's spending on the products. Okay, into 30,000, 3,000, sorry, 30,000. Okay, so if I want to calculate how much, so what do we say? We call, I don't exactly remember the local word. How much are you getting benefit? What is the benefit are you getting? Yeah, 90,000. Okay, 90,000 minus 30,000. 60,000 is the profit. Yeah, how much profit? So 60,000 is the amount that a person is getting. Okay, so here also if you take, so cost of the product, okay, 20 rupees, 30 rupees, 40 rupees, 50 rupees. So what I want to do, I want to calculate the net amount, net sales. Okay, so here let me take the custom column. We will discuss this, don't worry. So what do we do? Net revenue minus cost of goods. So here what do I do? Here I'll make this as net sales. Okay, net sales or net revenue or profit, both of them are same. So the net sales are, okay, let me make it into whole number. Okay, the net sales are 1,780 rupees. Okay, 2070. So I did some calculation. So I got, okay, after these steps, I got to know that, okay, this is what the exact output that I have got. What is the next step that I need to do? The next step is I need to apply all these steps in the main table. Okay, what is the next step? I need to apply all these in the main table. But every time I can't go to the main table after filtered rows. Okay, for example, in the duplicate column, what I did, I filtered rows. Then again, I went to the main table, I filtered, I took off nulls. Okay, I took off nulls. And again, going to the duplicate table and what we have added custom column. So every time I can't, now here it is only few steps. But if we have many steps, 20 or 30 steps, so how do we handle that? So it will be handled by using a concept called as advanced editor. So whatever the changes that we did, okay, those changes will be in a code, okay, the complete code. So what do I do? This is called as a mashup language or M language, mashup query or M query. Okay, control A, control C. Okay, so everything, whatever the complete steps that we have, everything will be applied in the single shot and click on OK. Yes, we got the data. So here what happens in the duplicate table, either I want to keep this as a, keep this, I can keep it, or if I want to delete it, I can delete it. Whereas, what is the purpose of reference in the real-time industry? Okay, for example, so in the reference table, so reference table is dependent on the main table. Okay, so dependent on the main table. So what happens in the main table, for example, dependent on the main table? dependent on the main table. So here, for example, we have domain. Okay, here we have domain and salary, employee name and salary, employee name and salary. So what do we have in the domain? So we have HR domain, marketing domain, and sales domain. Okay, so we have employee names. Okay, we have employee name. Okay, employee name and the salary. Okay, for example, we have employee name and salary. So there are around 10 lakhs records. Okay, 10 lakhs records. What is 10 lakh records or 10 lakh data? 10 lakh records or rows of data. Okay, in this 10 lakh records or 10 lakhs data, so HR domain, it is 3.3 lakhs. Okay, 3.5 lakhs records. Okay, in marketing, it is 3.5. In sales, it is 3 lakhs. So every time what do? There is no need of going for the separate analysis of the HR domain, HR one group. Okay, HR analysis one group. Okay, marketing analysis one group, sales analysis one group. Okay, there is no need of doing that. So what do? We get the data into Power BI. Okay, we get the data into Power BI. Okay, the complete table, the complete data. Okay, the way we have renamed it as, we name it as a organization table. So here, organization data. So what do? We name this as organization data. So then what do? We take the reference of this table. Okay, reference of the table. Okay, what happens? Okay, here what happens? We in the domain. Okay, we filter for HR. Then we go for whatever the steps that we want to go for. We apply the steps for cleaning the data. Okay, adding the columns or cleaning the data. Again, the next one, what do? Sales. Again, marketing. So you would have said that, okay, so 10 lakh records, every time I can't load the 10 lakh records. So it would become 30 lakhs for each domain. It would be loading issue in Power BI. Okay, but here you said that if you load the data here, so it would become 20 lakhs. You might have asked me the question. So here you are loading the main data. Okay, organization data has 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs data, 10 lakhs records, 10 lakhs records. And again, here we are taking 3.5 plus 3.5 plus 320 lakhs. But what is the difference? Again, it is a loading issue. Okay, here we have a concept called as enable load. Enable load. What is enable load? Let us see that. Okay, so this is main table. So what do? I right click. We have an option called as enable load. Okay, so what is this? So first let me close and apply. Okay, remember main table, duplicate table, reference table. Let me close and apply. Let us see all the tables are getting loaded into Power BI desktop or not. So once the data is loaded, we can see all the tables in the data pane. Yes, the data is loaded. Now, if you see, we have main table, okay, duplicate table, and reference table. Okay, now we are able to see. Let me go to data transformation again. Okay, so in order to not to burden the Power BI, okay, what do? Right click, enable load. What is enable load? The data is refreshed in the Power Query editor, but it will not be loaded into Power BI desktop. Okay, this is enable load. Disabling load, what it is giving? Warning. Disabling load will remove the table from the report, and any visual that we are using, it will be broken. So let me click on continue. Okay, we have not loaded. And again, we also have one more option, include in the report refresh. Okay, we will see that. Let me click on close and apply. Okay, now if you see, I'm searching for the main table. Now we are not able to see the main table. Okay. What is enable load? Enable load, okay, when we disable the load, okay, when we disable the load, what happens? The data, the table will not be loaded into, Power BI desktop. Power BI desktop. One of the interview questions, what is the difference between duplicate versus reference? What is enable load and what is disable load? So you need to explain the same thing in the interview, the way we have discussed. Are we clear till now, all of you? This video, we will discuss about the section called as add column. So let us get the data into here. So click on new source and click on Excel workbook. And let me go here and get that Excel in here. The insurance detail table is the one that we are looking into in the add column data transformation techniques. So what do we do in the add column? So we add the column based on the condition. Or if you want to extract anything from the column, we can also extract based on some condition. So now let us see. So what do we have? Let us see the data that we have it in here. So we have the first column insury ID, insury name. I mean, simple, the information related to the insurance policy holder, and also what is the gender and what is the policy name, policy type, how much the insurance coverage and what is the policy type, and insurance plan, how much insurance amount a policy holder is paying, and the policy holder annual income, insurance tenuity, and insurance maturity. So this is what the data that we have it in this data. So now let us go to add column. So there are three options available in the add column. The first and foremost option is column from examples, and conditional column, custom column. Now let us go with column from example. So if you observe the data over here, okay, we need to observe the pattern of the data. So if you see the insurance coverage column, so what do we have? We have got 50L, 10L, 20L, but if you see, we got here 40LL and here also 40LL. So what do we do? Right click and replace the values by 40L and click on OK. And for example, if I want to see, I want the combination of the state to place address. I want to see the merge column of state, place, address. How do we do that? The first and foremost option is select state, place, address, and we can merge the column. Okay, right click. We have an option called as merge columns. We can give the separator as space and address. So I can write full address and click on OK. Now we got the full address. But the only thing is that we are losing the data that we have it before. So I do not want to lose the data. Okay, I want to see the state, place, address, but I want to see these three in a single column, in a separate column. So how do we do that? So let me remove this. We have an option called as column from example. So click on column from selection. And what do I do here? I will directly write, double click. Okay, I'll write MH space Mumbai space Bandra. And let me rename this as full address. And click on OK. Now you see we got full address. What is the full address? MH Mumbai Bandra. Yes, we have inserted merged columns, but here what? So we have got a separate column. Not the column is not getting combined in the existing column. We got the separate column. So now let us see, can we make any other changes? Okay, now let us see, can we go for making any other changes over here? For example, if I want to, so here if you see, here also if you see insury annual income and 12,000 is the insury annual income, but that's not right. So let me replace the value by 12L and click on OK. Okay. So if you see, so now let us go here again. Okay, let me click on again, shift and select column from selection. Here, if I would like to have something different, okay, so I want to go for MH hyphen Mumbai hyphen Bandra. So I can enter, I can get it, the hyphen after each and every word. Okay. Or if I go for semicolon, also I can go for semicolon. Or if I want to add any special character, equal to also I can add the equal to. So this is column from example or column from the selection. So this is column from all columns or from selection. So we can extract or we can write any condition and we can get the data. The next thing is that conditional column. Okay, the next thing is that conditional column. For example, if you see, so in the gender we have male, female, but it is in the short form. I would like to see it in the full form. So how do we do that? So we have an option called as conditional column. Okay. So these are all like creating a new column. Add column section is completely like creating a new column. So let me write gender new. So what is the column name? Gender equal to. Okay. Here we have different types of operators. Equal to, does not equal to, begins with, does not begin with, ends with, does not end with, contains, does not contain. So here let me go with M and here I'll give male and in the class I'll go for female and click on OK. Now if you see we got gender new, male, female. Okay, this is what we have got it. So we have a column called as state. So we see only the short form of the states. I don't know what MH is or KA is or AP is. I want to make it full form. So how do we do that? So click on conditional column. So we directly go for if else condition. Simple. So what do I do? State new. So the column name is state. Where is the state? Yes, state equal to. Yes, we can go for equal or whatever we would like to go for it in the operator. State equal to MH. So I'll write Maharashtra. Maharashtra. And if you want to add clause, I can click on add clause. Else if, else if. Let me click on state again equal to TS. So I'll write Telangana. Telangana. And the next one again, state equal to AP, Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh. And the next one is again click on add column, add clause. Okay. Only if there are only two conditions, if it is if else condition. If we have more than two conditions, we go for else if. So the next one is again state equal to, here I'll go for KL, Kerala, Kerala. Again add clause, state equal to TN, okay, Tamil Nadu, Tamil Nadu. Again same thing, state equal to KA, okay. So here I'll write Karnataka, Karnataka, and again the same thing, state equal to GJ, Gujarat, Gujarat. And here I'll go for writing. Either I can go for enter the value or enter the column. So if I click on enter the column, I can write directly state. Else condition I'm giving. So whichever we have the short forms, give the full names. Else, let us go with state name. Click on OK. Now if you see, we got all the columns. All the states are being abbreviated. So this is conditional column. Okay. This is conditional column. So how do we write the conditional column? If we go for, let me explain you here again. Okay, simple, there are two conditions. Okay, first one is if condition. Okay, if there are only two conditions, then it go for if else condition. If we have more than two conditions, if else if and else condition. So what we have seen, column from example we have seen, and conditional column. Most of the times we use it when we have the text data type. Okay, and the next one is custom column. What is a custom column? For example, let us see one example. So here what do? I'll go till here. So let us work on the insurer annual income. So what do I want to do here is, so I'll go for column from selection. So replace L with 4 or 5 zeros. Okay, lakhs. I would like to see it in the number. Okay, 120, 1200, 12,000, 1,20,000, 12 lakhs. So let me click on enter. It did not understand. Let me write again. 8 lakhs, 8 lakhs, and click on enter. Now it understood. So what do? I'll write insurer annual income new. Insurer annual income new, and click on OK. So we got the data. So we have a tax slab. Okay, we have a tax slab. So what is the tax slab? Now let us go through one small example, general normal example. So let me write the condition. If, okay, salary less than or equal to 5 lakhs. Okay, salary less than or equal to 5 lakhs. Then, so it would be like 5% tax deduction. Okay, 5% tax deduction. Else, normal, if we go for direct to straightforward else condition, then it is 0. Okay, but we do not have, we have more than one condition. So what do? Else if, okay, else if salary less than or equal to, okay, less than or equal to 8 lakhs. Okay, then it is 8%. Okay, 0.8 or 8%. Okay, 8%. Again, else if, okay, salary less than or equal to 12 lakhs. Okay, then it is 15%. The tax deduction is 15%. Else if salary less than or equal to 15 lakhs. Okay, then it is 20%. Else, the last condition, greater than 15 lakhs. Okay, if the salary is greater than 15 lakhs, then it is a 30% tax deduction. So how do we implement this tax deduction in Power Query Editor using custom column? Now let us see this. Okay, so click on custom column. We have an option called as custom column. So add a column that is computed from the other columns. So here what I do, I'll write tax slab. Okay, so equal to, so I can select the column. Okay, if space, either I can select the column. Okay, double click, I'll get the column here. Okay, if insurer annual income new. Okay, if insurer annual income new. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me cancel this. So make this as a whole number, because we need, every time we need to enter the double quotes. Let me click on custom column. Write tax slab. Okay, how do we write if else condition in here? If space, I can give square bracket, I'll get the suggestions of the columns. Okay, insurer annual income new. Okay, if insurer annual income new, okay, less than or equal to 5 lakhs, less than or equal to 5 lakhs. So the next condition, the next thing is that then, okay, less than or equal to 5 lakhs. Then, so what is the condition? What is the condition that we have seen? 5% tax deduction. This 5% tax deduction is on the salary only. Okay. So how do we do that? So we will do it, enter injury annual income. So I can also click on this. Okay. Insert, multiply. Okay. If we convert the percentage into number. So how do we convert the percentage into number? The percentage into number can be converted. Okay. Percentage to number conversion. Okay, how do we convert? When we have 10% to number, so divide it by 100. Simple. Okay, divide the number by 100. Then we get the value. Okay, 10 divided by 100, then it is 0.01. Okay, so I can also take the calculator. I can also go for 10 divided by 100. It is 0.1. Sorry, it is 0.1. When we convert 10% to number. So here also what do we need to do? We need to multiply it with what is the percentage that we gave? 5%. So if I convert 5 divided by 100, okay, 5 divided by 100. So it is 0.05. Okay, it is. So I will be multiplying with 0.05. So again, there is no need of 5 divided by 100. So I'm directly taking the value. Okay, what we are trying to do here, if injury annual income less than or equal to 5 lakhs, okay, one spends 100,000, 10,000 lakhs, then injury annual income is multiplied with 0.05. Okay, else if the next condition, again the same thing, injury annual income, okay, injury annual income less than or equal to 8 lakhs. So here we will go for 8 lakhs. Then, okay, then enter, then injury annual income multiply by, okay, 0.08. Okay, when we convert 8% into number, it is 0.0508. Else if, okay, again injury annual income new, okay, less than or equal to, what is the next step? 12 lakhs. Okay, if 12 lakhs, then, okay, injury annual income multiply by what is the percentage? Less than or equal to 12 lakhs, it is 15%. When I put 15%, 15 divided by 100, so 0.15. It is 0.15%. Again, next one, else if, okay, else if injury annual income less than or equal to 15 lakhs, 15,000, 15 lakhs, then it is multiplied by 0.2. Else, last condition, what is the percentage that we want to multiply? So it is injury annual income multiplied by 0.3. Now let me click on OK. So for the annual income 12 lakhs, the tax slab is 1,80,000. Okay. For the candidate, those who are earning more than 12 lakhs, okay, 18 lakhs. For 8 lakhs, it is 64,000. For 6 lakhs, it is 48,000. So this is the way we calculate the tax slab. What is the actual salary that a person is going to get? So click on custom column. Okay, what is the in-hand salary? So I can write in-hand salary. So what is the in-hand salary formula? Injury annual income minus injury annual income new minus tax slab. Click on OK. 10,20,000 is the actual salary that a person is going to get every year. So this is the if else condition or the custom column that we have it in Power Query Editor. So how do we write? So how do you remember? You remember if condition, then result 1. Okay, syntax. If condition 1, then result 1. Okay, then is we need to write then result 1. Else condition 2, directly straightforwardly condition 2. We only have 2 conditions. If you have more than two conditions, if, okay, condition 1, then result to 1. Okay, result to 1. Else if condition 2, okay, then result to 2. Result to 2. Okay. Again, the next one, else if again, condition 3. Condition 3, then result to 3. Okay, result to 3. Else last condition is else result to 4. So this is what the if else condition, or it is also called as custom column. In order, if you want to create any column from the existing column, or if you want to apply conditions on the existing column, then we go for the conditional columns, so that we can easily get what is the conditions that we can apply. So most of the times it is used for grouping the data. Grouping the data. So most of the times it is used for grouping the data, or putting any slab on the data. Okay. And the next one is indexing column. I can give the index from 1 or from 0. Okay, I can click on this, and I can give the number from 0. Starting index is 0. And how many increment do we want to have it? So we can add the increment the way we would like to have it. So if I give 10 increment, I can also have the 10 times 0, 10, 20. And I can click on this. Starting index is 1 and the increment is 10. We will also get the increment. And I can also make it duplicate the column. We have seen the format, extract, and all these. So we can also go for filling. Yeah, we have seen this. So now let us get into other topic, that is append. Okay, other topic called as append. Append. For example, we have the data. So the company is maintaining the data. The company maintains the Excel data, the data in Excel. The data in Excel. So every month after completing the month, they change the sheet. For example, they have a sheet called as Jan 2025. So what do they have? They have date, product, and price. Okay, date, product, price. And in the February also we have the same thing. Okay, 2025. And also in the March we also have the same thing, 2025. But what our requirement? The client stated that. So can you please consolidate these Excel sheets into a single sheet or single data, so that we can go for yearly analysis. So till now we went with monthly analysis. What was the sales in Jan? What is the product price, and which products are being sold out on which date? And also same thing with February and March. So now he wants to consolidate all these in a single sheet or single data, so that he can see the yearly analysis. So we have append. So what is append? Concatenate. Concatenate the rows. Concatenate the table rows. Okay, into single table. Single table by row by row. By row by row. So what is row by row? So let me get the data. So click on get the data here, new source, Excel workbook. So let us get the data of append. So April, May, all this, and let me click on OK. Okay, we got the data. April, February, Jan. So let me arrange a little bit. After Jan, let me drag. And March, April. Okay, we got data. So what do we have in here? We have date, product, price. So the complete January data we have till 30th Jan. So we have got the data. And also same here append. So we got the data, date, product, price. Same date, product, price. So in all the sheets, we have the same data. So what do we need to do? We need to append it. How do we append it? So let us see that. So if you see on the top right side, we have append queries. So there are two options, append queries as new. Append queries is like, so other table will be added into the existing data. Okay, what is append? So let me click on, for now, let me click on append queries. Concatenate rows from two tables into a single table. Okay, concatenate rows, concatenate the table rows into a single table by row. Okay, what is the definition? Concatenate rows from two tables into a single table. So let me click on February and click on OK. So now you see after 30th, after 30 January, we got 1st February. Okay, after 30 January, we got 1st February. So what happened? Append queries means whatever the existing in the existing table, we got the data of February. But I do not want like that. I want to have it as a separate table. So click on append queries as new. Okay, append queries as new. We can also append 3 or more tables. Okay, concatenate rows from 3 or more tables into a single table. So click on February and click on add. March, add. April, add. And click on OK. Now you see we got the final data. Okay, final data. Final data. Click on enter. So after 30 January, we got February data. After 28th February, we got the March data. And after March, we got the February data. Okay, so let me take off nulls for cleaning the data. So now we got date, product, price. So what is the thumb rule of append? Okay, thumb rule of append. The first and foremost thing is that the name of the column name should be same. If the column names are different, we will get it as a separate column. Okay, let us see one example. For example, if you see here, in the February, we have the product as product, not the product, only prod. So if I go to final table, so we got products, price, and prod. Okay, what is the thumb rule? The name of the column should be same. Okay, the name of the column should be same. The first thumb rule is the name of the column should be same. And the second thumb rule is column number of columns should also be the same. The number of columns should also be the same. If we have different number of columns, we get the columns we will get the column, but we will get nulls if we do not have the data. For example, let me click on custom column and let me write discount. So a separate column that we are going to get. So discount column, we got the discount from the February. Okay, what is the percentage? 5%, 0.05. Let me click on OK. So we got 5% as the discount. So in the March last, when you see here, we got the discount. Whichever we do not have the data, we will get the nulls. So that is thumb rule. Okay, I can make it into whole number or decimal number. So let me make it into decimal number. Now you see we got the data. Okay, 2 lines, 2 definition we need to remember. column name should be the same, and number of columns should also be the same. If we do not have the same name, we will get it as a separate column. If we have the difference in the number of columns, whichever are not matching, we will get the nulls. So that is the only thing that we have it in the append.